Hey, I'm Chop, don't you ever pop me if you need me. Remember times in the past, you ain't believe me. Dumb nigga, seeing you the only one I'm needing. Brother died right in my eye, the feeling it went bleeding. No. Remember times up in the paddy, riding down, I'm seeing it. We had went to Greenville, we was thugging for no reason. No. Never thought that I would pussy, they could always see it. Man. Never was a cool nigga, I always kept a heater with me. I could hear the angels, they calling. I can see the angels, they falling. You did me wrong and now I'm falling. Who you gon' call when you need loving? Sitting in my room and I'm just hoping for a better day. Smoking all this weed, but I know it won't take the pain away. I can see the angels, they calling. I can see the angels, they falling. I know how you feeling, I see shit been getting deeper now. I know how you feeling, stronger feeling about leaving now. Tryna give you all that was mine, ain't tryna do the work. No, I do not plan on wasting no time, I'm tryna make it work. No, I know you ain't been tryna hurt me, but the feeling inside, you know it hurts. I would pray one more time to stop it hurting. And you know when it's sad, no need to worry. Never in your mind, you need to worry who I'm running with. I be with some niggas who be ready to get up in some shit. Now you tryna pick up his phone, they tryna call him. Remember times up in the past that you say you ain't need them. I can see the angels, they calling. I can see the angels, they falling. You did me wrong and now I'm falling. Who you gon' call when you need loving? Sitting in my room and I'm just hoping for a better day. Smoking all this weed, but I know it won't take the pain away. Niggas ain't wanna come around till they see that I'm bothering. And now they see that I'm bothering. And these niggas wanna follow. Wanna hit your phone, but I know shit ain't getting better now. Sitting in my mind, I'm confused, I couldn't see his side. I remember times where you always hold me tight and you'd tell me when I'm thugging in the streets, don't lose my life. I can see the angels, they calling. I can see the angels, they falling. I can see the angels, they calling.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to a special edition, first episode, very first episode of the Bearded Tabernacle. The very first episode of the Bearded Tabernacle. The real Bishop Bearded one speaks. Today's episode, man, I was just on the phone, with a relative, and L Boogie was in person. And we was chit chatting, and we was having a little conversation, and we decided that we gonna dive into religion tonight. It's Sunday. People go to church earlier today. So for all you church folks, I know you still got it on the brain. You know what I'm saying? Um, not just church folks. You know what I'm saying? People that just might sit at home and read the book, or dabble into the book. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it can be a touchy subject. It can be a touchy topic. We don't want nobody to get upset, get mad or nothing like that. I encourage any and everyone to join the conversation. This is not about converting. This is not about hating. This is about understanding. This is about peace. This is about communication. This is about bridge building. You know, I just want to dive and dabble into, just a few points and a few views out of the Quran, and out of the KJV, you know what I'm saying? And let's just, read, go over, talk, discuss, see what we think it mean, see the different type of, and you know what I'm saying? And again, we don't need the preacher, you know what I'm saying? We everybody got a phone. I'm pretty sure everybody got a Bible in the house. So if you got a Bible in your house, grab your Bibles. If you have a Quran in your home, grab it. You know what I'm saying? And let's chit chat and have some discussion. Of course, intellectual discourse. Of course, we're going to respect each other if one's come up on the panel. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. But again, open dialogue, open discourse on religion. Y'all see the topic? It says Islam and Christianity. Let's dive in. So everybody is welcome. All are welcome. Big ups to my moderators tonight for being in the building. Again, I got my mods working overtime. This overtime. And like Cito shit. What Cito say? Shit. Hey, I'm trying to get a job, and he don't even pay. So I got my mods working overtime, man. Big shout out to Uncle P. You know what I'm saying? Being in the building tonight. Big ups to Mega Tees. Oh, Mr. Cool is in the building. He say, oh, he say, you good evening. You need to watch the movie Talk to Me, starring Don Cheadle. Um, what is it about, Mr. Cool? What is it about? Is it pertaining to tonight's um, endeavors, or is that just a personal choice of a movie that you would like for me to check out? But anyway, before we get into it, we gonna keep it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, funky. We gonna start off like this, man. The thoughts, views, and opinions of Bearded Conversations are the thoughts, views, and opinions of its hosts right now. The thoughts, views, and opinions of Bearded Conversations are the thoughts, views, and opinions of its hosts right now. I don't mean to hurt, harm, or to offend. Once again, I don't mean to hurt, harm, or to offend. This video stream right now is for informational, educational, and edutainment purposes only. This video stream right now is for informational, educational, and edutainment purposes only. You know what I'm saying? Um, it would, and you know what? I want to stress and emphasize. I usually stress and emphasize edutainment, but I want to stress and emphasize the informational and educational part tonight as well. And hopefully, we can learn, or maybe shit, we might imam or pastor, preacher, reverend, whatever they call themselves. You feel me? Might jump on, chime in the stream, or somebody might know a little bit. And we welcome all. You know, listen, we welcome all. But again, man, let's get it, man. You know what I'm saying? So please don't take anything shown or anything said today on the Bit of Tabernacle for face value without consulting the proper professional that suits your specific needs. Please do your due diligence. That's why I say go grab your Bibles if you have one. Go grab your Quran if you have one. Because that's primarily where we're going to be tonight. So let's get it. And also, man, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't want you going out here robbing no banks, starting no revolts, or telling your boss tomorrow what he or she can take, how to turn it sideways, and where to put it. Because we done already told you over here what to do. Please do your vet work. Please do your research. Please do your due diligence, and please get that second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth opinion. Now, let's get into it, man. Hey, Mega T's in the building tonight. I see you, bad conduct. Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon again, man. Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. And good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, all. Okay, Mr. Cool says, what does Mr. Cool say? He says, bam, take that off. Okay, we'll go back. Bam. It's actually a documentary type movie. Don Cheadle plays a DJ like you. Not a DJ. He was hired as soon as he left prison. I'm not saying that that's what you did, but his style was similar to you. I think I seen that movie. I think I seen that movie. I don't quite remember it, but I think I seen that movie. Um, you said chapter Surah 16 verse 2. He sends down his angels with inspirations on his commands. He say not a DJ yet. um, so no. Um, and that's where we go wrong, Megateeth. That's not what we finna do tonight. We can eventually, as these episodes progress, I'm gonna try to do this every Sunday, and listen, and we can do Islam and Christianity for about a week, and then we can dabble off into other things as well. But for right now, this first episode, I want to get a general understanding of both religious entities in a contextual form. So we're going to be looking a few things up, and we're going to be doing some reading. And please, like I say, man, open platform, open forum. If y'all in the chat want to hit the panel, we can do so. I do invite brothers and sisters, man, to come up here and help read and discuss some of these things. And on top of that retrospect, I want us to also speak our minds. I want us to also not only when you if you come in the chat, not only to defend, but be logical with the explanation. And don't get me wrong, everything will be respected as best what I'm saying we can control it. And if we get a little bit too emotional, shit, yeah, hey, get up out of here. You feel I'm talking about? But yeah, but I want to talk about it not just in a religion a religion type conversation. I want to read about these things. I want to contextualize these things. I want us to understand these things. And then later, if any of the social constructs from modern man or contemporary man or past, present, ancient man, it's ideologies and philosophies and vices that was implanted inside of these things. We can get into that a little bit later. But let's understand the beginning. I want to go from the beginning. I want to understand. And again, I have the actual book. So let's get it. Hey, hit that like button too, man. Hit that like button. He said religion discussion. Yeah, man. Y'all in the building tonight, man. Everybody hit that like button. Do your boy a favor, man. Do your boy a favor.
Like the video, man. Thumb up the video, man. Like the video, man. Thumb up the video, man.
Like he said. Oh man, listen. You know, you know, generally, people will start off with the Bible, but I want to take these out so y'all can see the dedication in my eyes. um, let me start off with the Quran real quick. I ain't got my Bible in front of me. Um, but I can look up, what I'm finna read about, Islam, the same thing. So, common questions, right? Number one common question. So, what is Islam? And what I'm reading is coming straight out of the Quran. So if you do have a Quran, or if you want to Google or look it up real quick, you know what I'm saying. We can all be on the same accord. Or if not, trust me, I'm not. Hey, he say religious discussions are never ended because people have their own interpretations. Yes, 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 yes. But this is why I said, I also said, we want to take a logical approach. So this is not a fight. I'm not trying to go tit for tat of a believer or a faith. You know what I'm saying? This is about simple questioning, simple cross examination, simple logic. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? If you're a spiritual individual, if you're a spiritual individual, um, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Some of this mythology, or if you want to call it mythology, or some of this, actual historical events that the Bible speak of, and the people that's inside of it, and the Quran, it's real. In essence of being a spiritual individual, you have to partake in some of these things, you know. So it's kind of crazy, you know. Um, So, because my thing is, um, even if you're spiritual and the belief system, so the religion just puts a face or try to add a value to the spiritualism. If that makes any sense for the people. It's like the book and the stories and the historical values and events and places and things and names. You know, it's bringing it to life. It's like it's painting a picture. It's explaining. What our ancient, saying ancestors couldn't quite explain or didn't know about. Or maybe because of linguistic reason, but still, everyone has had a form of communication, man. It was just, now it's just wrote down, and our dialect and the things we speak and talk, and I want to look up translations and transliterations. I want us to understand what these things are. I'm not trying to turn on anybody into a PhD, or I'm not, stating that I'm a linguist or what I'm saying, a PhD in historical anything or nothing of that nature. But we're a family, man, so we can build and read and grow and become enlightened together. And that's what it's about. Islam, our self Lord and Master Allah, here. He say, where Master teach at? I don't know, man. See all that. All he said, Jacob says, only Jesus saves from hell. Jesus Christ died for our sins, was buried and rose again the third day. Corinthians. We are saved by grace through faith, not works. Ephesians 2, 8, and 9, KJV. He says, we have redemption through the blood of Jesus. So, Jager, and I respect that, and I appreciate that, and I love that you joined the stream. So what I want you to do is slow down respectfully, and if we're gonna do the Bible thing, right now I'm in the Quran. So, but I am gonna ask the question. So the common question is, what is Islam? So once we read what is Islam, we're gonna read what is Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go there first. We're gonna get like I say, we gotta build these things up contextually. We're not just gonna dive into chapters and verses and surahs. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, I told the Muslim brother that's in the chat, Mega Teeth, I told him the same thing. Slow down. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. But we can't get there by jumping around. You know, I know sometimes it might seem a little bit boring, but we're gonna try to splice it up and spruce it up for the people. We're gonna pause. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have some form of dialogue about certain situations. So again, if you want to hit the panel, please feel free to hit the panel. He say, got both right in front of you, front of me. Let's get to it. Hey, Uncle. Hey, Uncle P a fool, man. Uncle P say this should be interesting. Hey, you know what's wild though, y'all? L Boogie send me a Bible quote every morning. Do you hear me? I'll be ready to wring his neck. He send me this every morning. And what's crazy is he sent it through text. He sent it through Snapchat. He makes sure I get whatever message he is trying to convey or you know what I'm saying, boy. He makes sure you get it, boy. But Uncle P, yes, this should be interesting. You know? And I'm not making fun or pun about anything tonight. You know what I'm saying? This is a serious discussion. I am the Bishop Bearded one. For anybody, who deems me not otherwise, you're more than welcome to hit the panel and let's see. You know? Um, I'm pretty much I you know what? I'm decent. We gonna see. Well, we gonna learn together though. Let's do that. Let's do that. We gonna learn together. We gonna learn together. Mega T says, Uncle P, let's do it. I influenced this. I just got off the phone with cuz. Christianity was in Egypt first century Coptic. Also Ethiopia and what modern day Sudan today before European Christians, by the way. Uncle P, you jumping the gun. Uncle P, calm, slow down. I would rather it be productive than interesting. So the point of this is for production. Um, Mr. Cool. And I know you went to church this morning, right? Yeah. So let's get to it, man. So again, let me cut that back on. So now, common questions. It's coming straight out of Quran. So what is Islam? Islam did not start he said my bad. He said my bad, Mr. Cool. My bad, Mr. Cool. So what I'm reading is coming out of the Quran. And so this is what it's saying. So what is Islam? Islam did not start with Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century. Technically, Islam is the message that was delivered by all prophets of God, from Adam to Muhammad. Islam is neither named after a person or a tribe, nor does it end with an ism. Though each prophet had relatively different law, the essence of the message of Islam was always the same: have faith in one God and do good. In the Bible, the first four of the Ten Commandments enjoin the worship of one God. The rest urge believers to avoid what is wrong and do what is good. All prophets and their followers, including Jesus and his disciples, are are simply called Muslims in the Quran. Hence, anyone who submits to God or strives to be a good person can be called a Muslim with a small m. for linguistic perspective. You know what I'm saying? See, again, with a small m from a linguistic, I'm sorry, perspective. Um, so and we can and get your pens and paper out, man. We're gonna look up a few words as we go along too. So if y'all listening, write down linguistic. You know what I'm saying? For the people that's out there in the building, write down linguistic. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me show y'all. We for real. And I know, and listen, I don't want to hear that shit about I already know what it means. Guess what? We might have some people that don't know what it means. And we really need to learn and understand what these things are. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Linguistic. Okay. Every human being is born with an innate will, a feta, to submit to God. So, in Arabic, I'm sorry, it is fitra, to submit to God. But parents and society change this nature. Okay, I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it so far. You know what I'm saying? What school said with you all good, LOL. He said Europe, aka Europa, was named after the Black Goddess. Let's talk about. Hey man, slow down, brother. Y'all going all over the board, brother. Slow down, man. Let me dictate the show, brother. I'm reading about what is Islam, brother. You know what I'm saying? Slow down. I like the fire though. I like the fire. I love the fire. Okay, now, again, every human being is born with the innate will, a fitra, to submit to God. And apologies if my Arabic speaking ain't up to par. Um, but parents and society change this nature. And in order to relate to the Almighty, many have put a face on God, mostly human or animal, throughout history. The process of restoring the fitra is called reversion. Islam is not only a religion, but a comprehensive way of life. Based on common sense and clear cut teachings, Islam defines the right and responsibilities of every individual in regard to their relationship with God and his creations. It balances the spiritual and material needs of its followers and helps them gain happiness in, in this life and salvation in the next. So, if you ever wonder what is Islam and who is Muslim and what a Muslim is, uh, I hope y'all just learned something today. And yeah, man, we know about Europa, man, and all that, man. You moving too quick, brother. You moving too quick, brother. Moving too quick, bro. Okay, now let's see what is Christianity. Hmm. hmm. Christianity is a monotheistic religion centered on the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, whom Christians believe to be the Son of God and the Messiah prophesied in the Old Testament, aka the Torah. So again, you have Old Testament believers and you have New Testament believers, and then you have people that believe in the whole Bible. So people who believe in the Old Testaments, you know what I'm saying, they take the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called the Torah, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Um, with over 2 billion followers, it's the world's largest religion. Key beliefs include the Trinity, God and Father, God as Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the divinity of Jesus, his crucifixions, and the resurrections, and the promise of salvation through faith in him. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Core beliefs. Christians believe in one God who assists in three Christians believe in one God who exists in three persons: God the Father, God the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus Christ, Christians believe Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, who came to earth to save humanity from sin. Salvation. Central to Christian belief is the idea that salvation or forgiveness of sins and eternal life is offered through the faith in Jesus Christ. Now you get your book, Basic Instructions Before Leaving the Earth, which is an acronym, or you know what I'm saying, that people like to use or say. Christians consider the Bible, particularly the Old and New Testaments, as the inspired Word of God. Now, um, historical context: Christianity originated in the first century A.D. in Judea, and that's Abno Domino. So BC is before Christ, and Abno Domino is after Christ. When you hear things like AD or BC or BCE, or you know what I mean, or because now that it's called common. Anyway, anyway. Okay, I'm sorry. So Christianity originated in the first century AD in Judea within the Roman Empire. Okay. He said, and drop verses you read. So I'm not reading verses right now. Right now, we just getting a contextual background on what is Islam and what is Christianity. So, who is a Muslim? A Muslim with a capital M is someone who practices Islam. So, check this out. The Quran speaks extensively about Jesus. In the Quran, it doesn't say so. I just read Jesus. But for anybody who actually does a little studying, you need a book of hadiths. Now, don't get me wrong, you can read the Quran by itself, but you need a book of hadiths. So the book of hadiths is a book of parables that go along with certain surahs with inside of the Quran. So that's also very good to have. Just like the blue letter, you know, when you reading the scriptures, as they say, or when you're reading the Bible, it's good to have a blue letter or apocrypha. Um, things to help you discern and decipher, certain words, certain terminologies. Because again, like one brother said in the audience or in the chat, and again, now we can build. Now we can build. I just want to open up the topic in a light way, before we get to bouncing around with surahs and certain verses and chapters. Again, it's always good to get a contextual understanding and a brief historical background about what we're discussing. When we having these type of discussions, because I want everybody to be able to acknowledge and understand and comprehend, what's going on with what's going on. You feel me? You know, um, because that Europa, all that had nothing to do with what we talking about, brother. Respectfully, we appreciate the good information though. That was good information. Um, some differences between them. Yes, there are some differences. The English translation ain't always bang on. Okay, now, so I did say we were gonna look up a few words, so we're gonna pause that real quick. Oh, no, we not. No, we not. Let me finish this. Because what I wanted to say is, so we all are Muslim, you know? According to the Quran, everything is Muslim, right? With a small M. So when you come into this world, you're Muslim, right? Now, in the event that you actually practice Islam, now you become a Muslim with a capital M. So a Muslim with a capital M is someone who practices Islam. Muslims follow, Muslims follow the five pillar of Islam: Shahada, testifying that there is only one God and Muhammad is his last prophet. Salah, Salah, praying 5 times a day. Psalm, fasting from dawn. Sorry, fasting. I'm sorry, from dawn to sunset during the month of Ramadan. Zakah, paying alms tax on savings worth 85 G of gold or more in the amount. I'm sorry, if the amount is kept for a year. And Hajj, performing pilgrimage to Mecca if physically and financially able to. Muslims also believe in the 6 articles of faith: Almighty God, His angels, His prophets, His scriptures, free choice, fate, destiny, their judgment. Basically, their judgment, revelations in the Bible, His scriptures, same thing here like in the source. Free choice, faith, and destiny, that free will. Almighty God, you know what I'm saying? You call him Allah, y'all call him God or Yahweh or whatever. I'm not to say it like that. I'm just, because I'm going. His angels and his prophets. So yes, bad conduct. There are various similarities between the two religions or entities I don't know if you want to call them spiritual understandings or whatever. But yeah. And to speak to you, Uncle P, yeah, they do speak of Jesus extensively in the Bible, but they don't call him Jesus. They call him Esau. ISSA. So in the Quran, he's called and he's known as Esau. Esau. Just like in the Greek, he's not Jesus. He's Isis. If you get a Greek Bible, he's Isis. It's spelled with an I, I-E. You know. Mega T says Quran and the Bible. It pretty much same book and story, different context. I can only speak from my own life experience. Once I gave my life to Christ, I became a new creation. So I really have no desire to study any other religion. My life is controlled by the Holy Spirit. And of course, and again, that's your opinion, brother. Some bloke, different sandals. Same bloke, different sandals. I'm sorry. But I respect everyone's right to study what they want, but I can only speak to what worked for me. So, and see, this is the type of discussion. So now we're gonna open. Now let's get to it. So you saying that, um, can we deem that an ignorant statement or ignorant discernment? Some might, some don't, some won't. The only reason I said that is because if you were and we speaking hypothetically, so I don't need to, well, I'm not and I ain't never, we know that. But if we had a different understanding, and then you got to speak to, because some of us don't have a different understanding, because we have the Nation of Islam, which a lot of melanated folks like to participate in. You know what I'm saying? And then you got some brothers that study um the traditional Sunni and Shia uh Islam ways. Um, well, Mr. Cool, but if you was raised something, and again, your experiences are your experiences because you're over here in America. So, of course, only thing you know is Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, you still only know Jesus because it don't matter if it's Baptist, Catholic, and see, and I didn't, we go see, and I want to get into the breakdown of that too as well. Because you have your Baptists, your AME, your COGIS, your Church of God in Christ, your Southern Baptists, which is different from Baptists, your Protestants, your Lutherans, you know what I'm saying, your Mormons, you know, shit, what else? Y'all know it's the evangelists, the 7-day evangelists, the Israelites. Um, it's just so much diversity with it, and understanding and practices of a faith of a one God done in so many different ways coming out of one book. I'm not saying these things. I'm not speaking or saying this to undermine um, any individual entity that's a religion or that came about here in the present or in the past, because we forget about the Sadducees and the Essenes, and the Sadducees, and the Zoroastrians. It's a lot of previous religions that didn't last and didn't make it, right, and they would lay claim to the reason they didn't last and they didn't make it is because it wasn't about the one and only true God, right? But that's a lie. That's a lie. Because in contention, if it's the only one and true God, He made all. He made all. So he made all in the way that, because if we're going by Bible standards, because when we got captured and we were in Babylon, well, I ain't gonna say we. Y'all listen, y'all getting me engulfed in it, but we just gonna say for the sake of this argument, when we get captured for my Bible people, you know what I'm saying? When we were in Babylon, I think I don't want to misspeak, but I'm thinking it was the Byzantine Empire. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Some things slip my memory. If you guys can help me out, you feel free to do so. But I think when we got captured and we were in Babylon, I think it was the Byzantine Empire, and when we erected the Tower of Babel, and forcefully, when that tower got broken down because God was so invoked with anger that we were trying to get up there and you know what I'm saying, and like, but again, why would you get mad about that? Because you knew that you knew we can't get up there where you at anyway, you know. You never said that they couldn't, but I get it though. But I get it though, in essence, and we can talk about that, you know, um, in another conversation. But when that tower fell, the book says he's not the author of confusion. So when that tower fell, you know, and everybody built this tower because everybody spoke the same language. Everybody knew and understood what the next person was saying, man, woman, or child, or for that matter, or enemy. So, but anyway, um, so it had to be only one language then. It had to be some type of form of communication with all these. And when you watch a lot of these movies, you see some of these people are even bilingual in other people's languages, whether it's through their experiences through traveling and bartering or intermingling. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but whatever the case may be, when the tower fell, y'all, language got dispersed. You know what I'm saying? It got put everywhere. You know, it got moved around the board. So, again, a lot of people's understanding are to their understanding because of, what I'm saying, their linguistics in their area, what I'm saying, their geographical, oh my goodness, geological geography, you feel me? Their location, so yeah, when you in this side of the world, you probably gonna partake to being a Muslim, but Christianity, for such a beautiful faith, you know, the conquering, the pillaging, the raping, the destruction, you know, um, and on both sides, and on both sides, you know, on both sides. But that's not what the primary focus or topic is. I mean, now but again, not to ruffle some feathers, but we need to understand contextually the historical details of each of these things. You know what I'm saying? And what they did through our history and what they have become today. And again, I always tell people, I don't knock what you do or what you are, you know what I'm saying? If it help you, it help you. That's facts. You say Al Secure and Al Ghaffar. Yeah, those are some of the authors. Well, some of the versions. Well, I don't want to call them versions, but yeah, I'm gonna say authors. He said, if you were dating different women and you find the right woman, you don't care for other women once you have a helpmate God created for you. Um, yeah, that's the purpose of dating, right? The same thing with spiritualism or with religion. You can get out here and become a Christian. If that moves you, or again, that's why I stated that. We got melanated brothers and sisters. What I'm saying, in the states that practice the Nation of Islam. They don't necessarily, uh, uh, they not considered converts to the traditional ways of Islam, which is the Sufi and the Shia. You know what I'm saying? So we turned it around and got a different understanding. And when you hear some of them brothers talks, they say they just take some of the principles. They don't engulf themselves in the actual understanding of what those people on in that geographical location understand, because they not there. They don't know their plight or they understand it. But again, those brothers like to say, that's why they call themselves the Asiatic black man, because they believe the melanated man was the first man in the continent of Asia. You know what I'm saying? You know, and also, they believe this whole land, to their understanding, was called Asia. You know, for people who don't know that, we are the continent of Asia. Not the continent, but the world. This whole thing, this what we say was a Pangea. They say it was Asia. They say they got proof and historical knowledge of these things, and of course, they're gonna say it's in a Quran, it's in their surahs and in their scriptures, But man, listen, man, no matter what, we're still under a cloudy canopy and a starry deck heaven. Facts. That's whatever. And if you believe it's a space or something outside of the firmament, that's up to you. I'm not here to knock, another person understanding. Again, we just here to dive in and get a contextual overview of both these religions. And of course, it's Sunday, so we're gonna do this again. We're gonna get in and dabble into, a lot of different denominations and see who started them and how they came about and what they do in community, and see the different, try to understand the different ways that they practice and do what they do. you know and then I also want to, because it's Sunday, I want to get into the Menunetta. I want to get into the ancient land of Alkebulan, or Africa as we know it today. you know and we could talk about the pharaohs, or the Nasuts, and get into the pyramids, or the Merkuts. These are the actual technical. See, when we talking linguistics, these are the actual terms. Well, I don't want to say terms, but words for these things. Merkut. It's not called a pyramid. It's called the Merkut. They're not pharaohs. Pharaohs are only came after the 26th dynasty. For anyone that study history, that's when you get your Ptolemies and your Cleopatras and things of that nature. Um, we can look these things up. I'm free-handed, so I'm not giving dates because I'm free-handed. But again, I encourage ones, if you got a Quran and if you have a Bible and if you got Google, if you got some books, pull them out. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? We usually don't do this on Sunday. But yeah, man, we could talk about it. So I want to get it, like I say again, the Medunetta. And as you guys may know it, they call the hieroglyphs. People call them the hieroglyphs, but it's actual called the Metunetta. And again, you get stories about Africa being conquered by the general Africanus. Um, Listen, it was a whole tribe on the continent of Alkebulan, or Asia, or Africa, or Tomahawk. Shit, I can't even pronounce it. I forgot. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. It's Sunday, man. I want to learn. He said, once you give your life to Christ, He would demonstrate His love for you. I had prayers answered that revealed to me the power of Christ, and that's dope. And that's dope for you. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Cool? I love that for you. It is good ideas. The what do you say? Ex- e- Excavation, not so. He said, go to church, give that. I'll know it, cuz. So he says, Smokehouse Beast in the building. He said, yo, what's good, fam? Have a blessed night, everyone. Showing some love. He said, keep making the moves in life. Hey, facts, brother. You should have stayed and joined the conversation, brother. I appreciate you jumping in, though. You know what I'm saying? He said, Al Nur, the light. Okay. Well, I knew what that was, man. You ain't have to. Okay. He said, Mark the Evangelist brought Christianity to Africa in 60 AD and spread throughout northern Africa. Hashtag historical records. So, and even before that, because um, we don't do our history, bro. But yeah, so Islam, man, a lot of the names that's in the Bible are some of the same people that's in the Quran. And then also, man, I done said this before, and I done mentioned this fact, and I don't know if anybody ever caught it or stopped to really think about it. Abram, he's the father of all three are Abrahamic religion. Because Judaism isn't Christianity. Well, Judaism have its time. We can get into it tonight because those are the three major religions. So we'll get into that tonight too. So Judaism, of course, that's where the Jewish faith is from, and then you got your Israelites or your Hebrews or I don't know what they calling themselves nowadays. Respectfully, because some people say Hebrew Israelite, some people say Hebrew, some people say Israelite. Hebrew is a language, so to speak. Um, linguistics. That's what we was looking up. Hold on. Let me get back. Because I do want to, so we can understand terms, words, and just be, on the same page. Linguistics relating to language or linguistics, a child linguistic ability. Let's see. Linguistics is the scientific study of language, and its focus is the systematic investigation of the properties of particular languages as well as the characteristic of language in general. An example of linguistics. Linguistics looks at the general phenomenon of human language, different families of languages. Example: Germanic, Germanic. I'm sorry, because Germanic. And see, and I was gonna get into that too. And that's crazy that I looked up linguistics and I looked up an example because I was gonna get into that when I said we don't do our history because I was gonna get into the Vikings and the Vikings coming over here and settling in England, and then you get the Anglo and the Saxons, and they put them together, and you got the Anglo Saxons, and then the only difference between them and the Vikings is because they all from Germania, when it was called Germania, which is now modern day Germany. You know what I'm saying? But since they converted to Christianity, and of course lineage and separation of bloodline, not tied from, and then being took over, and man, it's crazy. Yeah, so that's wild. So different families of languages. Example, it says Germanic, English. I'm sorry, Germanic, including English, German, Dutch, and Scandinavian, among other specific languages. Examples: Arabic and Mandarin and French. Um, Arabic, of course, we already know what the Arabics are. We already know what the French are. Which were the Franks. You know what I'm saying? And Mandarin, of course. Mandarin is the Mongolians, and again, I learned something too. I learned that there's racism inside of those people. About one of those people, and I don't know if he was throwing me off just for conversation's sake, but he seemed to be genuine. About the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Philippines, and all those, like they, how they don't really get along and stuff like that. But Mandarin, um, is the base language for most of those languages that's spoken over there. You know what I'm saying? And then one again, of course, you got your breakouts with your different dialects. You know, Japan, of course, being an island, and then China being so big, and then South Korea being, so yeah. But linguistics, man. So depending upon where you are, your geographical location, uh, and again, that's why when I made that statement about, um, Mr. Cool, yeah, your experiences are your experiences, and that's great. But again, like, what if you was brought up with something else? Your response would be different. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I say let's have an open mind in the conversation. But I seen when you said, Pete, you respect, you know, and that's what it's about. And you saying that, but I don't really think a lot of people mean that when they say that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think of that. And I'm not saying you don't, but I just don't think a lot of people um understand that. He say, speaking my Arabic. It's why those as you learned a few words. Well, you can't now I do suggest to all my people that's in the building, man, to learn Arabic and learn Hebrew languages the best you can. I was just at a job earlier today. I was talking to a Nigerian brother that worked with me, man. He was like, he speak 15 languages, Nigerian, Sangay, French. He was laying it down. But again, a lot of the languages that he speaks, some overlap because they all are the basis and the premise of the Wolof language or the Yoruba language. You know what I'm saying? So most of those principles and languages, when I say principles, meaning phonetics and the way they sound and how they wrote down in script, they all have a basis. You know what I'm saying? So they all and then the French comes from being colonized, and a lot of other languages that he said he speak. He said it came from colonizers. But again, people spoke different dialect, and some languages were just thrown in altogether. You know what I'm saying? And oh man, and there's a phrase for that. I forgot what the phrase was because when people were freaking, oh, please excuse my French because that's where that came from. You know what I'm saying? Because people will be speaking another language and then throw some French in there, and then some people who might not didn't know what the other person was talking about, they would say, please excuse my French, because, we'll start off talking this and then the French would come in. But that comes through colonization. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these, and listen, and if you don't believe me, or listen, let's do some research. Let's do some studying. That's why we in the building tonight, you know? We ain't gonna get too hard, what I'm saying, too hard up, but I just want to touch bases, man. It's the first show of the Bearded Tabernacle, and I just wanted to touch bases with the readers. He say, and you, Bearded One, you have such a great sense. I'm sorry, you have such a great and sincere spirit. You're charismatic and intelligent, which is why your program will grow and grow. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. You say, what you say? I'm doing. God is good. God is great. Yeah. And for my Muslim brother that's in the building, man, we respect all that, man. But again, man, I think the approach that we take to this religion thing is a bad one. You know, that's why I wanted to start off with action before we get into verses and chapters and books. That's why I wanted to start off with understanding what we understand. What is Islam? What is Christianity? What is a Muslim? You know, what is a Christian? You know, big ups to Charlie C. He said, I'll represent the Christian point of view for educational purposes. Ah, ah, ah. Why, hey, why you say for educational purposes? But it's not, but it's not really, and I appreciate that, but it's not really from a point of view because you know we all, he said bedtime. Good night, everyone. Yeah, good night, Mr. Cool. You know, Mr. Cool, man, Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool, one of them Bible thumpers. Mr. Cool say, no, he can't get down with this. Ah, 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 ah. Oh shit. So For anybody that don't know what this means on the screen, it's Latin ad majorium de gloriam, for the greater glory of God, is what that means, y'all. The phrase is a model of the Society of Jesus, like in hoc. I mean, I ain't gonna go there, man. I ain't gonna go there. I speak a little Latin. Uh, uh, he's a Bible thumper. Yeah, man. I speak a little. I speak a few different. And people be looking like, what that N word say? That N word say he's lying. No, man. I speak a few. Now I'm not fluent in what I speak, but and I ain't talking about no phrases neither, man. So a lot of motherfuckers be talking about they speak shit and be being phrases and shit or words or the negative shit. You know what I'm saying? The dirty words and shit. No, man. You know, we enlightened and elevated over here. You feel me? Hey, that shit ain't easy though, bro. Listen, but I do encourage ones to learn Hebrew and Arabic. You know, especially when we talking about trying to understand Islam and trying to understand Christianity. Despite the flaws, despite the faults, despite you know how different people view it, you know, and how like one brother in the earlier on in the chat was like, you know, it's subjective because people can take it any way they want to take it. You know, it's a lot of different views on it. You know, but when it's only supposed to be one view, right? Translation. No, 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 no. No, no. Definition of translation: the process of translating words or text from one language into another. The process of moving something from one place to another. Translation of the relic of St. Thomas of Canterbury. So the process of moving something from one place to another. So like the obelisks that were in Egypt. Oh man, God dog it. I just had it slipped because they're not really called obelisks. That's the Greek word. Um, but the obelisks that would so they was translated to the Washington DC and other places around the world. Or again, the process of translating words or text from one language to another. So the process, meaning the rearranging and the reconfiguration of what's being said in one tongue or dialect into another tongue or dialect. Now, I also said this word, transliteration. Transliteration is the process of converting text from one writing system to another, representing the sounds of the original text as closely as possible, but not necessarily the meaning. It's about representing the letters of one alphabet with corresponding letters of another alphabet. So basically, if any, so now here when the linguistics part come in, the linguistics part because if they have a writing form or style, so and the only reason I want to get in, I'm dabbling into this because the Bible was translated, people use the word translated, you know, into English. So the English that we speak is still ain't even English because over there they speak the King's English or whatever, even though they got their slang. But if you heard the original English don't sound nothing like how we talk. And the original English as a language itself had various stages of progression before it landed here, which we now speak a mixture of other linguistical, geographical dialects, meaning we got a bunch of shit, you know what I'm saying, from all over the place. And we came up with the modern day tongue or linguistic of English, what we speaking now. And that's very important to know when we're talking about the Quran and when we're talking about the Bible, because as we know, the Bible was transliterated. And if I'm reading the Quran and it's not in true Arabic form, you know, I'm doing it a disservice and a disjustice, I will say. But for educational purposes, when we get into it next Sunday and we start reading a little bit more of the scriptures and the surahs, we'll understand and we can see why. Um, because again, now, you know, from translations to transliterations, you know, now some things might not mean the same. You know, the Quran, if you have one, it also gives the alphabets. You know, and it's crazy for us to make those letters or those symbols the same sound as our, like that's crazy. Almost seem damn near impossible. You know, cause what if I say roof, how you gonna make that A? You know what I'm saying? And if I say bark, you gonna make that B? Like that's crazy. But I you know, and then you know other places read right to left and not left to right, like how we read. So, you know, and again, like I said, that's very important in understanding. We're getting a contextual overview on these religions to know, you know, how they was wrote down. And also, I want people to know if you are Muslim, big or little, um, um, the Quran is not with the way the Quran is wrote. It's not wrote in an actual speaking language. You know, the Quran is actually a book of Psalms, in a way. You know, that's why it's chanted. It's not really read. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a chant. It's more of a song. You know, it's not an actual language. I mean, it is, but it's a different. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to simplify the explanation. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to simplify it. He said, I'm a Jesus Christ thumper. Oh shit. Amen to that. He said religion is all about divide and conquer. But we all gonna follow what we follow. And that's facts. And that's facts. And you know, and some people, you know, don't want to hear the fact about, you know, how you know, shit, Christians and killed how many people? You know? A lot of this colonizing and conquering was because of Christianity. You know, and this is something that, you know, you want a non-believer or a Gentile or the other various words that they call people to convert to and join, you know. And a lot of brothers and sisters that go outside and go into these different other countries' religions and become converts. Like I don't even see how you do. Listen, now if something move you, it move you, but I don't see how. Yeah, I can't say I don't see how because something might not move you where you at. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So you know you go convert, but when you go see, but this is what I'm saying. But when you become a convert and you convert to an outside religion. And yeah, I'm gonna call it outside because it's not something that you're privy to or that you necessarily learn or you grow up around. So that's what I mean by outside. Because we know again, I don't. It's not an outside religion because again, Abram, you know, is they all Abrahamic faiths. You know, what I'm saying if you're talking about Muslim, if you're talking about Christianity or Judaism. Um, and Judaism. That's even a touchy subject, you know, with the Khazars or the Quasars, I'm sorry, or the Ashkenazi Jews, you know, which is a battle going on between them as well. You know what I'm saying? And again, y'all, and I don't know if y'all missed it, man. When I spoke earlier, when I talked about the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essenes, you know, these were the three primary sects of because it wasn't even Christianity wasn't even called Christianity. That's a modern concept. Like everything, that's a modern construct and concept. You know, that's what Christianity is. You know, nothing wrong. with that, Mr. Cool. Nah, Mr. Cool, we love it, baby. We love it, man. Listen, I told you, man. Granny, he said, "Hey, my brother, I'm a little busy, just stopping by to hit that like button." Okay, Granny, man. Big ups to Granny, man. Big ups to Granny for stopping by hitting that like button. But yeah, man, you know, Christianity, Abram, and then I don't know if you guys know, man. Abram was born in what they call the Middle East now, which is crazy. Just like Jerusalem, and Israel is fucking Northeast Africa, but they because and for people who don't know this, and the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, and the reason why I say people are delusional is because if you believe in geographical studies or geology, Israel and Jerusalem are still on the tectonic plates of the continent of Kemet or Alkebalon or Africa. And so is that damn Middle East. But I think I forget which part it lingers off on. Um, you know, the more east you go, I forgot. See, but these are important things to know, and these are important things to keep in mind um, as we, like I say, get a contextual overview of what Christianity and what Islam is. And then just like Christianity has its denominations, Islam also has denominations. You have your prime 5%ers, you have your Moors. You know what I'm saying? Also, let me see. Let me do this. Read this real quick. So Islam has two main branches, Sunni and Shia. These branches emerged from disagreements about who should succeed the Prophet Muhammad after his death. While both share core beliefs and practices, they differ in their interpretations of Islamic law and leadership succession. Beyond these two main branches, other significant groups include the Ahmadiyya, Sufism, and Abadi. Right, because it's five of them. Ahmadiyya, Sufism, Abadi, Sunni, and Shia. So, give you a little breakdown on all of these. Give you a little breakdown. Give you a little breakdown. He say, Muslim, me. You self-lib is mastering. Oh my goodness. I could logically sorry. I could logically argue God supersedes religion as a third party mediator, of course. So tell me, how does God supersedes religion? I agree about the geography con. Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, it's actually true. Y'all can listen again. Y'all ain't gotta believe nothing that I'm saying, man. We come up here, man. I act a little intelligent. You know what I'm saying? On being in conversation, I act a little intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Just act a little intelligent, but uh, motherfucker be knowing some shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm privy to a lot of information that anyway. Sunni Islam. The largest branch, Sunni Muslims believe that Muhammad did not appoint a successor and that Abu Bakr, his close companion. So when we, never mind, was the rightful leader. They followed the Sunnah, teachings and practices of Muhammad, and rely on scholarly consensus for guidance. Shia Islam. Shia Islams that believe that Muhammad designated his son-in-law Ali as his successor, and they believe in the authority of imams who are seen as descendants of Muhammad and possess special spiritual knowledge. The Ahmadiyya. This sect, founded in the late 19th century, emphasizes peace, tolerance, and the revival of what they believe is the original pure form of Islam. Sufism. a mystical branch of Islam that emphasizes inner spirituality and personal connections with God through practices like meditations and ritual. See now, and then you could say, well, that sounds a little bit like Buddhism or Taoism, um, a Baldi, a smaller branch that emerged early from. I'm sorry, a smaller branch emerged from early Islamic history. Baldi Muslims have a distinct understanding of Islamic law and history. So even inside of, oh shit, wait a minute, I know it ain't. So it's supposedly 73 sects of Islam. So, but those are the major 5 sects. So again, and here we go. And I'm glad we did that because when people say, "Oh man, the Muslims and this, that, and the third," what kind of Muslim are they? What law do they follow? What practices do they engage in? Mega T says, no matter what we believe in religion, we all got to meet that higher power. I know y'all about me, but I believe in God as a woman. Interesting. Get at me. Hmm. Um, I didn't heard God was a woman before. So listen. So I'm not going to dispute that because what we can say is, and logically speaking, if you got common sense, let us make man in our image. What type of talk do that sound like? And I'm not trying to over sexualize. I'm not trying to read in between the lines. I'm not trying to sway nobody's understanding. But honestly, if we sitting here as grown as men and women, and we trying to get a contextual overview and understanding of biblical principles, of Islam principles, right? It says, "Let us make man in our image." The only other way I know to make another human being is to procreate, is to have sex. So let us make man in our image. And then people like to say, well, that us was Jesus, but 2 men can't procreate. 2 men can't have a human being. And then Uncle P, you say God supersedes religion. Um, Facts. I would also agree with that. But do we have a mother? Like, how can something that creates and created us create itself without something creating it? And we supposed to just understand that. And then they give us science. It's like, Now, me, myself personally, I'm more of a universal law principle type of individual. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been Catholic, grew up like that. Um, then, once I started to, venture off into my own, um, I became a Muslim, you know, and then after progressing so far, um, I became a Israelite. Um, Israelite was the last stop on the religious merry-go-round, and I felt that it was the closest thing to understanding what I thought understanding was when people ask these questions about certain things in this particular book that we call the Bible, you know. But again, as I grew, as I became more enlightened, as I became more started overstanding, understanding, and understanding things. And using the third eye that I tell people that see, and I ain't talking in parables, and I ain't speaking literal. You know what I'm saying? That is the pineal gland is your third eye. The pineal gland is one of the reasons why we have melanin. You know, it's some debates and yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Um, but that's that third eye. You know, things hit that third eye first and then get analyzed. You know, and if you're not using your third eye correctly, things don't get analyzed when it comes out through your projector lens. It's these two eyes, the two that's on your face. Sometimes if you don't know how to compartmentalize and decipher and discern, what I'm saying, with the original eye, when it gets to the two eyes that projects things out, your reality can be fucking screwed. You know what I'm saying? And for a lot of my people that go to church, for a lot of my people that tend to mosque, for a lot of my people that go overseas and partake and do other different. Now, me, for the experiences is great, but is doing these or learning or becoming engulfed in these practices for a certain amount of years and dipping off, is it disrespectful? You know. Um, because don't get me wrong, you can read a book and you can learn about it, but actually doing, and living and breathing and really feeling a type of way, you know, uh, that's cool too. So now, also, what about the African diasporas? There are different other aspects of spirituality or so-called religions, that's out there. The voodoo, hoodoo, you know. Um, and it's a lot of different understandings and teachings when it comes to this spirituality, or when it comes to this religion as an entity. A primary foundation and basis and understanding for us as humans to learn how to interact and be particular with one another and show empathy and have sympathy. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's why I say, y'all, this ain't to knock nobody, because listen, we gonna get into it, man, and we can get into it and have intellectual discourse without being upset. I most definitely, and again, I welcome y'all to hit that link in the chat, because I like this. This was the first episode, and I ain't get too heavy, but just diving into this. It feels good. It really do, man. It feels good, man. We understand it. He say the man got, but how what the man got what, and but how we got all, but how we all get here. We had to pass through that. You say the man got a, okay. All right, the man. Okay, so the man has a penis, and but how we all get here, dude? Yeah, yeah. Facts. So like I was speaking on my original point. Thanks for bringing me back to that. You know, uh, like that saying. They'll say, "Oh, well, that's Jesus. He talking to Jesus. Let us make man in our image." Like, no, because man is attached to man and one man. Some people, when you get in the conscious realm, they womb man. You know what I'm saying? And see, and here we go. Because a womb man, and scientifically speaking, and I'm just throwing this shit out here because this shit just came into my mind. And Uncle P, I remember when we was talking about this. The sex is not even determined once that egg hit that cell. You know what I'm saying? So technically, uh, we all are female. Well, I don't even want to say females, but just um, uh, blank campuses until the DNA and everything get to churning and working and doing what it do. We all just blank canvases. And then once all that mixing and shit come in, then we get to find out, what we are, who we are, and what we gonna be. And doing those gestation periods. But again, let us. I mean, I'm asking my peoples, what type of talk do that sound like? Not making fun. I'm not poking. I'm asking a sincere question. What type of talk does that sound like? You know, and I'm not saying I'm trying to put a modern day understanding to a ancient uh a dialogue, but let us make man in our image. You know what I'm saying? Like, so and us is more than one person. That's plural. Us is a plural word, and then it says make man, you know. So how are we gonna make man and one man if we're not procreating? Because you made Adam, you didn't because you didn't come originally with Eve. You came originally with Adam when you put him to sleep, and you molded him out of the clay from the earth, and you breathed the breath of life into him. And he was here for a long, long, long ass time before Eve decided to, um, or before the Creator, the Almighty Yahweh. Y'all know the Yahweh's well, you know what I'm saying. Y'all know the Almighty. You know what I'm saying. So I mean, what in Islam? Again, that's why I say even within that, like when people say, when people say they got a disdain for the Muslim people, I don't think a lot of people understand. A lot of people know that you might be talking about a whole different group, a whole different sect that has a whole different understanding that has a completely different principles. Especially like the one, even though they say they uphold such and such and such and such, the one that came up in the late 19th centuries, 1800s. So that wasn't even, you know, they so, and I'm pretty sure then when I get to looking it up, it's 73 sects. I'm pretty sure some of these Muslims don't even read out of the Quran. I guarantee you some of these Muslim sects might read out of the Bible because Christianity is so prevalent and heavy everywhere. 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 He said, "Excuse my lingo, trying not to cut." Are you good? You good, bro? Brother Uncle P says, "Open dialogue is always a good thing, brother Khan." Yeah, it is. It is. Even listen, even if the shit that I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Even if the discussion or the topic that I'm talking about ain't your fancy, and you feel as though it doesn't deem or it isn't warranted your time to respond or reply to certain things. That's cool too. That's cool too. And where my preachers at? Where my teachers at? Where my imams at? Where my other people that's in the building, man? We got a few people watching, man. Listen, I don't want to say Christianity versus Islam, but do we have some Christians in the building? Do we have some Israelite brothers in the building? Do we have some any person that studies or that does other different type of forms of worship? You know what I'm saying? Where y'all at? Yeah, but this open dialogue and discussion, Uncle P, that I like to have, it's for good, all good intents and purposes. Because again, even if it brings a a, a, a slight chance of a open understanding of what the next man has, you know, because sometimes, just as a general statement, and you guys don't have to agree. Sometimes I think religion is selfish, you know? Maybe my perception or maybe my antennas are too fucking high. And I'm gonna use Mr. Cool as an example. Oh, I didn't see this. He said, "Please understand, I have family members and good friends that practice as Muslims. I love them and support." I didn't see that one. But what my comment at? What a comment at that I wanted to where is that? Yeah, I can only speak to my own life experiences. Once I gave my life to Christ, I became a new creation. So I have really no desire to study any other religion. My life is controlled by the Holy Spirit. What is the Holy Spirit? What is the Holy Spirit? Is that a thing? You know, is that a thing? In other religions, it would be called something else. You know, um, historically speaking, question bad conduct. Historically speaking, what was the native spirituality or religion on the island of New Zealand? Do you know? Did you hear me? Bad conduct.
Yo, is that better?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, yep. Protestants and Anglicans mostly.
Anglicans and Protestants.
Yep, yeah. And then the natives have like a bunch of different gods. Like we just had the New Year, which is called Matariki, and the seven stars. You know, the earth, the air, the fire, all those things, and some
So
extras that
that's
they pray
more.
to.
Yeah, so that's more on the lines of what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Because see, that's more the lines of what I'm talking about. The Protestants and the Anglicans, that's fairly new.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100 within the 150 years of us being settled.
Talking about now. Say what you said again. The islanders, the natives, they do what now?
They have multiples, so they have got they're a bit like the Greeks, god of the seas, the stars, the food, the mountains, all of that stuff. So we just had the New Year for that, and it's called Matariki, and there's like that's when this cluster of
Matariki,
seven
Matariki.
Matariki, that's when this cluster of seven stars come over, and so it's only I think it's only visible for 7 days or something like that. Um, but yeah, we have they have a celebration around that.
See, and that's powerful because most ancient beliefs and religions, or see, then they didn't call them religions. We're going to say spiritualities, or a lot of
Customs they try and
yeah,
call it, don't they?
yeah, or a lot of continental diasporas they believed in the constellation and the stars and astrology, and they tried to explain it the best way they could through stories, through
Hmm.
making up certain things and giving them certain names because of certain reactions that they observe through their experiences. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Hmm.
even with in the Norse religion with Odin. And a lot of people don't know, Odin is where the origin it's the origin of the word God, God.
Mm.
So, and a lot of people, like I say, man, that's why I said I want to get just even through these conversations in different places in different areas, getting a contextual overview not just coming out here to attack or to protagonize or to tear down and not try to understand, just get a contextual overview so we know the historical value or the historical way or certain origins of how certain things started and how they matriculate into what they are now. You know what I'm saying? Bad conduct, those things are important to learn and to be embraced and become part of, because I guarantee you, if a lot of people really sat down and learned about the so-called religion that they take part of, and they really understand what they read, they would not do it.
Agree. I agree. Yeah.
You know?
Look, I'm an atheist, bro. Like straight. Like we weren't brought up religious. We weren't baptized. We had nothing in the house of any sort of. My mum was spiritual, crystals and all that sort of healing and stuff. Um, so I never was exposed to it. We used to go Easter with our grandmother, and have mass on Friday or whatever. Um, and I've never felt like I've needed religion in my life. Like I cannot see what it would give me that I don't already have. If that makes sense.
Right. So, but people who have a faith would say that their God is supplying you with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I spent a long time working in a truck as an offsider with a Turkish bloke who was a Muslim, very devout. And he used to say it to me all the time. He said, "Brother, you've got to believe in something, brother." You know, I'm like, "Oh, I don't, bro. I don't know where to start."
Right.
And like I've started, bro. I've picked up books and read. I've never got far through them. I've listened and I've immersed and I've like I say, I spent a lot of time in a truck with him, stopping every Friday to go to mosque, listening to him talk to his Turkish brothers and all that sort of stuff. That didn't immerse me in it with them, but it gave me an outsider's view.
Mm. And that's another interesting, the Turks, the Ottoman Empire. You know what I'm saying? And how they got their religion. And man, y'all see, that's what I'm saying, man. This is, and I'm glad that my cousin and my boy, man, influenced me to, come on and go live Sunday and dabble and talk about religion and just, and not in a way, like I said, to go against, but just a way to understand, what we do as a people.
I can
So,
I can definitely see why it attracts people.
mm-hmm.
For the same reasons as I guess I can see that a motorcycle club would attract people.
Mm. Well, see, for me, I can't, because then once I engage, it's like, what the fuck am I engaging into? Like, this is
Yeah.
wild. You know?
Yeah.
But most people brains be like, oh, this is interesting, and yes, this is what I'm gonna. And I'm like, I'll be like, wait a minute, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you
I'm
know,
very personally I'm very anti-establishment and whatever that establishment may be, especially if it's a big establishment that has a lot of rule and power. I'm not for it, man. Like I don't
mm,
believe that I don't believe that we should be, you know,
yeah,
giving.
fact.
Mm,
So Mega T says Muslims 5% get a bad rap every time. I tell people I'm Muslim. I get it. Bad. You trying to blow some shit up and they move around quick.
yeah, you leave your backpack in the wrong place, bro.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was living in Sydney, not long after the Trade Center thing happened, and that's on the other side of the world from that, and they're trying to ban the burqa there. These women's headdress, and like as much as I'm anti-religion and anti establishment and that sort of stuff, I believe you have the right to wear whatever the hell you want as to express yourself religiously. You can't ban the burqa. That's like saying, hey bro, you can no longer wear those shorts past your knee.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can't wear a snapback anymore. It's done. You're done.
Huh? Facts. Facts. You know what I'm saying? And bad conduct giving us this experience from on another side of the mother. It's probably 2:30 in the afternoon over there. or 1:30. I might be off. What time is it?
What time is it here? 5 to 5.
Oh, 5 minutes to 5?
5 minutes to 5 on
Oh,
Monday.
okay. Well, I'm way off. Shit, I was way off. Uncle P says, I'm a Titan, son of Lepidus. I defied Zeus for the gift of fire, and I'm at a disadvantage tonight. Man, mythology, Zeus. You know, that even with the Greeks and the Romans, man, like,
Mm,
you know, and again, like the division that Mega T spoke on, y'all do know again, and I keep repeating this, and this is something that I don't think people catch either. That's religious or that participate in religion, bad conduct, is that all of these things are Abrahamic faith.
all of them. Yep.
No scholar
Mm. Hmm.
denies this.
No.
No one has open debates about the latter because they all have come. And I'm not saying that they all right, you know what I'm saying? Because but we have so many diverse individuals that bicker over the pettiest shit, but most of them have come to a consensus that they're
Mm.
all Abrahamic faith. Like
Mm.
the Muslims and any other fucking sect that come from underneath them, Christianity, I'm sorry, and any other denomination that comes underneath them. And also the Jewish people or Judaism. They're pretty, you know, they won't agree with it. I mean, agree to it or say it publicly, but there are different sects of Jews.
Yep. You know, I heard you mention the Shiites and Sunnis before, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I will look it up later. But I believe that they are at odds and ends because of where they place their hands when they pray.
Well, not only that. So basically, in a nutshell, one believes that the prophet should have, or the successor to Muhammad has to come from within the people,
Hmm.
right? And then the other believes that no, he can appoint or he appointed. You know, we don't have to find someone to lead us from within our people. He can be an outsider. You know, we could choose an outsider, and that's basically the divide in the politics of the Sunni and the Shia. You know what I'm saying?
I,
Is that
I
is
could
that
see how
one
that would
believes
divide.
that one believes that the leadership becomes same shit like in Christianity. You know how you know Jesus came up from in the midst of his people. You know what I'm saying? But then you
Yeah.
got people like Paul who go outside, and then you got his brother James, you know, and who was supposed to persecute Paul for going outside teaching because Paul wasn't where they was from type shit, but he was still out there spreading the same, you know what I'm saying, information, maybe just a little different. You feel me? And then
Yeah.
he had to come back and talk to him and get shit situated and get out there and do it the way that they needed it done. You know what I'm saying? I'm breaking
Yeah.
shit down in a nutshell. I'm keeping it simple, but if you read the book, that's basically what the fuck is going on.
Yep.
And I'm keeping it 100. I might be giving y'all the Negro version of it. And when I say Negro, I mean, goddamn it, any individual that's acting like a jackass. I'm talking about big stacks. What's going on, baby? What's going on? But yeah, man, and again, like I say, bad conduct. You know, a lot of people don't they don't look at it that way. Now
Mm.
that so the Monteziki, what you say it was? Say it again.
Matariki.
Matariki.
Yep.
So what would you say, even though I know it's real small, what would you say is the percentage of that actual spiritual process is actually being done on the island versus the Protestants or the Anglican or Christianity or Muslim or Islam?
I I really wouldn't have an idea, but I do know. that I never learnt about it in school. My kids taught me about it, so it's obviously something that's being reintroduced and repopulated into the education here.
Yeah, because like I remember you telling me that they breeded all the aboriginals out. So
Yeah,
if so again, not to get political, but if they bred them out, why not get rid of everything else?
yeah,
You see what I'm
and
saying?
they did it, and the Maori, they fought really hard and still do to retain their culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and like they speak their language in the classrooms. Like both my kids run around the house bilingual, and they're both whiteys, bro. Um, and it's great, man. It's great. It's beautiful to see.
So New Zealand, do you guys have a language that you speak?
Yeah, Māori.
Modi?
Yep,
And what is the origins of that?
New Zealand.
Oh, it comes
Yeah,
strictly.
well, Pacific Islands, the whole area. It'll
Okay,
be an amalgamation of them all, as all languages are.
okay, okay.
But yeah, like when I went to school here, bro, like like if you wanted to do that class, you had to
Hmm.
get permission from your parent and then put into that class. And I grew up with in like a really racist household, um, and I was never allowed to do anything like that, so I never got to experience it. So I never learned anything. Um, but now
Racist
it's just
against who?
anybody that was different, bro.
But I'm saying all y'all was like the same people. So who the fuck was y'all being racist against each other?
Mm. Well, they're not bred out as in like completely whitewashed, bro. Um, I don't know. My dad he was just a nasty man. He just anyone if he found a reason, skin color, sexuality, whatever.
Now, but so how many black people are on the island over there? How many darker folks? They might not call themselves black folk.
Okay, so there's two islands. I live in the South Island, which is a lot wider than the North Island. Um, because all they've got pockets of tribes and stuff still up in the north. It's warmer. But I honestly don't know. Like
So
I've been back.
so
Haven't been
how
back here
often do
very
you
long.
see a person of color? Let me ask that
Oh,
question to you.
every day, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every day.
Okay. So one of my moderators, TLS, he's in the Netherlands, and I asked him some of the similar questions about Norse mythology or the Norse pantheon. I don't want to call it, not disrespecting anybody, but we Americans call everything mythology, right? But that's fucking insane. We call everything mythology, but the Abrahamic faith.
And then what do you call that? Judaism or Abrahamic
That's
faith?
crazy, bro. We call everything mythology in
Mm,
America, but
mm.
the Abrahamic faith. So the Abrahamic faiths are Christianity, Judaism,
Mm.
and Islam, or it's called Mohammedan or some shit like that.
Why is that? Do you think that is to retain the fact that it's a myth because it's got myth at the front
Hmm.
to leave one solid and the rest in the air?
Hmm. Could be. That's why we right now on this stream talking about Islam and Christianity because they left shit open. You right? Absolutely
Left it in the
correct.
air. Mm. See,
Absolutely correct. Each civilization of people, bro. When it comes down to the study or whatever the case may be, oh no, those are fairy tales. Those are things that were created and made up. Oh,
mm,
none of those things are real. And a lot of times, a lot of those things don't have a book. They don't have a
mm.
canon. They don't have writings that
Yeah, okay.
survive.
So yeah, that survived.
You
It's not
know,
to say they weren't there
right, right.
and
That's
they didn't
that's
exist. They have
right.
not been. Yeah,
You know,
we know that the English were very about burning literature.
yeah. And then we come now with Billy Carson's and other people and we talk about the Emerald Tablets. Um, see and when I so now in the connection with the Emerald Tablets, check it out. So Now, again, we're gonna slow rock it. So, Abram, aka Abraham, is from the land of Ur,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
This same person that's from the land of Ur is the father of the primary three religious faith. Right? So let's see what the land of Ur is. Do. So Ur refers to an ancient city state in Mesopotamia, specifically what is now modern day Iraq. It's known for its significant role in, in Sumerian civilization and its association with biblical figures like Abraham. The ruins of Ur are located in uh, Tela Amakla. Hmm.
Hmm.
So Abraham
So,
was an Arab. No, and I'm not making fun, but we
no,
got to
you're
make
right though.
sense of it.
Hmm. So I just had a look at Google the same thing, and mine says refers to a concept popularized. So the land of Ur refers to a concept popularized. So like, is it a concept or was it an actual
So
thing?
biblical. So now, okay. So and I like that. Stay there. So it says biblical connection. Ur is mentioned in the Bible as the birthplace of Abraham's family, and Ur of Chaldea. So if it's mentioned inside of this Bible, who many scholars seem now, because it's a big debate on whether if the Bible is a historical or not, right?
Mm.
So and we have
Mm.
scholars that says that yes, the Bible is historical. So if the Bible is a historical context, is that a lie or is it a popular concept?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who knows? I guess yeah. I'm trying to read it as well.
But let's
I don't know.
just say,
I don't know. I can't marinate on that.
oh, so here we go. Archaeological discoveries. Excavations at Ur have revealed a wealth of information about Sumerian civilization, including the ziggurat of Ur, a large temple structure. Ziggurats, so for those who don't know what a ziggurat is, it's just like a mound or a pyramid or a makut. They try to make it to make it out to be the same equivalent because of the design and the stature. So you can you listen to that, and that's up to your own understanding and perception of how you want to view things. If you go look up, things about it. So Earth flourished from the I'm sorry, Earth flourished from the Ubaid period, 5,000 to 4,100 BCE before Christ. Of course, it had to be before Christ because Abram was here before, Jesus, right? To the Archimedes, what? Archimedes, no, I'm sorry,
That was right. Yeah.
Archimedes, okay, Persian period, 559 to 330 BCE. So if see, this is what I'm saying. Like, are they lying? Are we just reading shit that's lies?
Uh, Probably, possibly.
you know? So so where I was going with this, if Abram family is from Ur, 9 times out of 10, where's Abram from? For the sake of this
Yeah,
conversation, Ur,
we'd
right?
think, right, yeah.
Which is now modern day Iraq.
Hmm.
So Abram was a Arab
An
man
Arab, yeah.
who was the father of the three major religions in the world today, which is Christianity, Judaism,
In Islam.
and Islam. Now, check this out. He had Sarah or Sarai, and he had was it Hagar? which was she Ethiopian or Egyptian? She was one or the other. We can Google that and look that up what she was too, right? So he had the baby first from Hagar, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Rebecca. I think let me who the fuck did he have kid? Because I don't want to mislead. I ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing
This is
that.
like I sit down to learn about this sort of stuff and watch documentaries on it, and I get lost in the names
Yeah, see, that's
because
why I
that,
say we ain't
yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
That's why I wanna. That's why I wanna. You know what I'm saying? We can break it down. While I got a little time, we can break it down. So Abraham's primary wife Sarah, originally named Sarai. See, and this is what I'm saying. See, and hold on, we're gonna get into these name changes too. She was the daughter of Terah, son of Haran, making her Abram's niece. Whoa, wait a minute, slow down. She was the daughter of Terah's son Haran, making her also Abraham's niece. Woo, shit, we missed that somewhere. We missed that somewhere.
Was there like 5 people in the Middle East?
We missed that somewhere, huh?
Mm. I think
Oh,
uh, I think you'll find that happens a lot more as we read on.
yeah. Oh yeah. See, but it's
Mm.
just not with this, brother. We gonna read this Quran. Man, I want to talk about Muhammad. We gonna talk about Muhammad too. Like I would see. That's what I want to do. I want to get into all just to because I want to understand and I want to try to bring some peace and some type of fluidity and understanding and enlightenment to um the spiritualness of religion and the foundation and the basis and the premises of religion, and not just for people to be doing it, because it ain't nothing wrong with what you're doing, but let's all understand what we doing so we don't have to hate one another, so we don't have to say, well, what you doing is wrong,
Yep.
or make statements like, well, from my experiences I gave my life to the Lord, but yeah, so what,
Mm.
somebody else gave their life to
So
whoever.
I wanted to touch on that quickly if I could.
Go
On the
ahead,
brother
bro.
saying that, like I don't need another religion or I'm not interested because whatever. See, what would interest me is like, why did you choose yours and not the other?
Mm,
Right? Why are you not
mm,
having the dialect anyway? Like, how do you know his is not better?
mm.
If you're not willing to look, he found his, you found yours. If you're not talking about it,
No, you know what I'm saying?
we just
Atlanteans,
flip a coin and
Atlantis
hope
comes to
hope for
mind.
the best.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Atlantis got, we see Uncle P this Sunday. We're gonna try to do this every Sunday, Uncle P. So Atlantis, just pause. Y'all moving too quick. I'm trying to, so listen, I'm trying to have open dialogue and discussion and go different places and bad conduct. I wasn't badgering you about what's going on to see what I was asking questions because I want to get into the North mythology as well, and like I said, God, people don't know that the origins of God comes from Odin, and like I said, I asked TLS about what is the percentage of people that practice that old Norse religion, on where they at, and he was like, man, shit, they all Muslim, and I'm like, they all Muslim, what the fuck?
that's that's basically like especially in the prison system here, Muslim.
See what I'm
Um,
saying?
mm.
Right. So
It's definitely growing a lot faster, than even Christianity is shrinking.
hmm Or it might, or I was gonna say, just certain designated areas might be more uh prevalent to Islam than other places in the world. Just due to the geographical understanding, linguistics, and just dialogue and beliefs and culture and traditions.
Mm. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
also true. Yeah, but I believe
versus your Americas that's been colonized and commonwealths and your France and your Spain, because Spain ain't shit but Spain, Catholics and Latin.
mhm.
Every time I talk to a Hispanic brother, why do you call yourself Latin, brother? Because because Spain, even the Spaniards, y'all ain't nowhere near motherfucking Greece or Rome.
So I just googled the I don't know. So the fastest growing religion in New Zealand is Sikhism. Actually,
Oh,
Sikhism
that's
is currently
That's an Indian
yeah,
religion.
Sikhism is currently the fastest growing religion, while a number of Christians are has decreased. Sikhism, along with Islam and Hinduism, has seen significant growth fueled by immigration from Asia. Specifically, Sikh population, New Zealand has more than doubled since 2013.
Mm. And then remember when I read off, I don't know. Oh, and speaking of those various religions, so when I read off, the Muslims also believe in the six articles of faith. Excuse me, and those six articles of faith are once again Almighty God, His angels, His prophets, His scriptures, free choice, faith, and destiny, in the day of judgment. All,
Mm,
I don't care what religion, what spiritual system, or whatever you practice. Well, I ain't gonna say spiritual, because spiritual systems and spirituality are two different things than religion. But
mm-hmm.
when we talking about religion or indoctrinations and things with books, it all of them have a day of judgment.
I mean, yep.
Every last one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, even the Book of the Dead, the Egyptians' Book of the Dead, all of them had a day of judgment and a day of atonement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the free choice, the faith, and destiny. I'm gonna just say free will, but we can book a few other things inside of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, his scriptures and everything is his. His. You know, God had a wife.
Mm.
You know,
Oh yeah.
they have found altars ascended and erected in edifices, in archaeological finds and actual scripts stating that God had a wife and people worshipped and celebrated her the same.
Mm. But it was still his.
Yeah, yeah. But when he talking to Jesus when he said, "Let us make man in our
Mm.
image."
Mm. Right, so I just read on a bit. It says a prevalent religion in New Zealand now, Hinduism, is followed by almost 900 Maoris. So that gives you that's the indigenous. So that gives you a bit of a with this 4.5 million people in our country. It's a
Hmm.
little bit of a percentage. Um, Muslims are the most rapidly growing religious group in New Zealand, with the population increasing sixfold between 1991 and 2006. So that's when that was done.
Mm. So, and statistics are important. Numbers are important. You know, if they done properly and correctly. I know things can be infatuated and inflated, and
Yeah,
of course, everything can be doctored. And
yeah,
again, but see, but what? And listen, I didn't said this before on the episode. The victor, tells the spoils of the war. He tells the tales. He dictates what go on.
he
But I
dictates
don't want to.
history. Yeah.
But I don't want the people's minds to be stuck in that assimilation or stuck with that thought because again we encourage people to do their due diligence. We encourage people to do your vet work. We encourage people to do the research. You know, um, and guess what? Learn proper discernment. You know, also, learn what discernment is. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to differentiate. Learn how to be logical. Look up what logic is and
Yeah.
understand what logic is, and talk to
Meet
yourself
yourself
and
in the
see.
middle.
Yeah,
Meet
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
in the middle.
Basically, and and I think if and guess what? A lot of times, like I love this phrase. It's easier said than done because it is. Because who has the time with so many distractions and so much going on in their life to really put themselves in the middle and outside of either side of a situation to see what's going on?
Hmm.
You know, especially if religion is supposed to be a safe haven for you. Especially if religion like, why is there numbers of like, you know? And I believe that's what the wars and that's what the fights was over to see who was going to be the primary religion.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe like apart from money, outside of money, that's what they're still over.
look at the Dome of the Rock. Look at the place that was built on top of King Solomon's temple. You know
Mm.
that which is supposed to be. I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna say mythology, but supposedly, the Dome of the Rock is built upon the actual historical supposed site of where the original King Solomon's temple was built. Um, and do you guys know that the Jewish people, the Muslims, everybody go there to pay homage and to pray or sacrifice or whatever they do to their God.
Sorry,
Because
I
the
missed that.
Muslims,
My son spoke to me. Are you talking about Mecca?
yeah. Well, no. It's not Mecca. Mecca is the other way. I'm talking about in Jerusalem
Okay.
over there.
Yep. The wall.
Yeah, not the wall, the Dome of the Rock.
Okay. Sorry, we're still on that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they go, everybody go because, like I said, it was built on top of supposedly the site where King Solomon's temple was. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, and I'm only saying these things to because they still worship in the same place, but it ain't peace,
No.
and it ain't gonna never be peace.
But has there ever been peace?
Right, my point exactly.
Mm.
And so Prometheus says, the Moors ruled Spain for over 781 years. Perception versus reality can be sobering. Yes, the Moors did rule Spain through the army of Hannibal. Hannibal what's the word I'm looking for? Was an inhabitant of Carthage, which is in North Africa. And they like to say the people that were in North Africa were white folks. And listen to how they do it, bro. The tips of the continent are originally white people, is what they say.
Right.
No,
The tips.
no,
Right where the
yeah.
ocean meets the land there.
They say they were the lighter people. Yeah. Oh, and they called them the Tamahu, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Maybe mispronouncing. But again, back to Abram, right? Arabic brother who's responsible for all these three major religions. So we talked about him. He slept with Hagar, right? Hagar had Ishmael. Ishmael is supposed to be Ishmael. Well, we know Abram first is the basis of the Muslim, because when you think about Muslim, you think about Iran, Iraq. You think that's the place you think. You think Middle East before you think anywhere else. Even
Yeah.
even though Muslim has been popularized and glorified with the Turks, with the Ottoman Empire, and some Franks.
The
This
Lebanese as well, I believe.
right. So this is after the fall of the Viking, well, what we call Viking. I forgot the original term. Well, actually, they were actually pirates, but same difference. But and Danes, and stuff like that. So these were things that assimilated afterwards because of so much destruction and war and things of that nature that was going on. So you got to know the history and contextual overview of the things that took place throughout these building process of these religions and the principles they was founded upon. And we haven't yet got into the metal netter, and we probably won't get too much off into that tonight because we still got Sunday and some more Sundays to go. But we can't forget about the influences of Isis, Osiris, and Haru. As you may know them, which is also Greek terminology. The proper terms are Aset, Asar, and I'm sorry, Isis, Osiris, and Horus.
Mm.
The proper
That's
term,
how I know them.
yeah, the proper terms are Asar, Aset, and Haru. You know, um, and it's in the Medu Netta is a language that says has been deciphered by Champollion, Young. I'll get the full names of these authors. If you guys would like to, check out some of their books and some of their works and some of their publications. So that way, you won't think I'm just pulling your chain and shitting your leg. And anything that I read, you know, if I ain't, 9 times out of 10 paraphrasing. But if I have those books or if I have things in front of me, on Sunday when we doing these things, I'll read directly from those publications, and I'll put the book up in the camera. I might have to start. I might get back into my book buying. Uh, excuse me, game as well, what I'm saying, for these Sundays, and so we can explore and really learn, you know. And again, you guys don't have to purchase these books. It would be, cool, but as long as I got it and I can show it to the camera and you guys can see what and listen, and I ain't doing all that extra shit. We ain't trying to fool nobody or do nothing, change nothing. I'm gonna read and again, we're still gonna get 1,001 understandings of what was said and what was spoken. The same thing we get right now with this modern day religion. But again, Abraham, uh, Arab man, father of these three major religions. He slept with Hagar. You know what I'm saying? So my point was going to be that we can start the Muslim shit with Abram, but we're going to start it with Ishmael, because Sarah didn't want, what I'm saying, Hagar around, what I'm saying? So he got kicked out with her son. And he was like, "Man, you got my blood and you my lineage. Go up to Bam, y'all gonna be good, y'all gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna get to where y'all going and y'all gonna have y'all own thing." And his own thing was in over there with the Arabs. And goddamn it, this how Muhammad and all this old extra shit come about. But then you get stories in history, or now you have things saying that the Christians wrote the doctrine. See, this is what I'm saying. It's wild. And see if you can Google that real quick. That Christians wrote the doctrine, or they came up with the idea of Islam, and the Christians are the one that perpetuated and pushed that understanding to the masses. I didn't heard this before. I didn't heard scholars say this before. Again, um, uh, uh, I'm free flowing right now tonight because I didn't know I was gonna dibble and dabble and get into a lot of information, trying to get a contextual overview of Islam and Christianity and things like that. Well, I go ahead.
I found something. Was Islam influenced by Christianity? The religion of Islam was significantly modeled by Assyrian Christians and Jews. In come on, I before E. Explicit. It's a really easy word, bro, and I get it 200 times
Yeah,
out of
I
10.
do that. I do it.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip over it. The origin of Islam,
Yeah, no problem.
Islamic Salat, Salat, academics state that it was influenced by the religious prevalence in the Middle East during the time of Muhammad, such as Christianity and Judaism. So,
Like, I ain't lying to nobody.
mm, mm.
I just sometimes, I be cool because I know this religion should be a touchy subject for people because they don't understand and they don't really go through and again, like when I be saying shit, sometimes I don't be making shots. Like when I say I'm privy to a lot of other shit and that people ain't privy to, shit, I just take advantage of what the fuck I got going.
And that's when people have to go to bed. It's late. So the one under that's even more interesting. It says 77% of new converts to Islam are Christian.
Say that one more time.
77% of converts to Islam are from Christianity.
So, Uncle P says, by the way, Iran has some amazing historical sites. He say that draw pilgrims from both Christianity and Islam, including the oldest church. If you agree, we'll value the evidence. Yeah, Iran does have amazing historical sites. Facts. Uncle P. He said history has not been kind to the truth.
I don't think present time is kind to the truth.
I don't think people's brain has been kind to fucking common sense.
Well, it should just be called sense, bro, because it's not common.
Man, because, bro, you know, I ain't lying to the people, man. I know. Listen, because this type of talk, you know, can be deemed sort of conspiratorial. But again, I ain't saying Google right. Y'all hear me throwing out authors and names of scholars.
And
And
all
these
I
are
read
real
is
people.
straight Wikipedia, Google.
And these are real people with PhDs. And again, that's why I say, you know, given this contextual overview, I kind of was on the brain fart and should have known that I'm you know what I'm saying? But again, but again, like I can get these authors and these names and get it for people so they can really go look and study who these people are and what they have done and their works and look them up and compare, man. Do a comparative analysis, man. Go to different scholars. Go to the ones that they debate and see those facts and see what's going on with those things as well. You know what I'm saying? To do a comparative analysis and just learn how to discern and differentiate, you know what I'm saying, what could be potentially bullshit and hit it for all angles. Like when you play chess, you gotta think 3 moves ahead. Shit, start thinking 10. You know what I'm saying? So when you picking out certain things and like just go over different scenarios, just replay it. You know, what's the ratios? You know what I'm saying? What's the odds? What could be this outcome if this was that, or if this was that, or if that was this? And you know, just redo that. And what I'm saying, just keep an open mind to all, is what I'm saying. Don't get stuck on one variable. Don't get stuck on an equation that you think you may have solved by saying, okay, well, this is my primary religion.
ChatGPT. I don't even have ChatGPT in my house, bro. Like I've got a computer, so I probably do.
ChatGPT, the shit they say.
I
Gary,
know. Actually, no,
Gary.
I
He
do
said,
have it in
feed it
my
into
house.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. My son uses ChatGPT.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I am ChatGPT. ChatGPT just gonna give y'all a more expository, I'm sorry, version of what the fuck I'm saying. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like Uncle P, you talking like Uncle P. You know the Moors were primarily from not Morocco, as as the brothers who were the feds, who let they tassels swing 360 degrees because knowledge is infinite, and you should be obtaining 720 and all this good stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, man. But the Moors were in Lower Egypt, I believe. Um, Moors were actually a people, not a description or a color of a people. If that makes any sense. Because if they're on a continent where everybody is the same color, why are they called the Moors and why is the Moors attributed to being the color of the people? We got to think.
North Africa and the Iberian Peninsula. Morocco, Algeria, Libya.
And
Sri
those would
Lanka.
see, and that might be where they got the fez from. And let's see. Because when you think about the fez or the head guard that they wear, people think instantly Morocco, or some people might think the little monkey man that had a hat on with the little jacket. You know what I'm saying?
I know the little monkey. Trying to find a. So it looks like they had quite a, like you say, they're like more of a religion than a lineage.
Right, and
Well
they
spread.
couldn't practice, so they traveled. I don't want to get it wrong. It was either from Lower Egypt to Upper Egypt, or from Upper to Lower Egypt, and You know what I'm saying? They got into other different schools of thoughts and schools of philosophy, trying to hide and keep going what they had going. Same shit like the Sadducees did, scenes and the Pharisees did. Same shit like the Zoroastrians did. Same shit like the Druids did. You know what I'm saying? Same shit like Illuminati did. And a lot of people don't even know what the. All right, okay. This. Listen, we got to understand. I ain't saying what's now is are the origins, but you need to learn what certain shit is and who involved in certain shit and what's in play and what's involved in certain shit and when certain shit is being done and why it's being done and the people who can change and affect and is doing the things. You know what I'm saying? Wrong or bad, good or evil. And that's why they give us these movies with these type of options and these type of illusions, optical illusions that they put in front of us. You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes we take it as movies, and then you get motherfuckers like me, you know what I'm saying, who over contextualize the shit, and we want to just, you know, spaz the fuck out and try to learn as much as we can in the short period of time that we got. You know what I'm saying, and try to get some of that to the people. That's what it's about. He said Eric, Berber, and Alberian. The Berbers invaded um, Egypt, Egyptos, because it was Egyptos before it was Egypt. And Europa, yes, was a melanated goddess of a diaspora of the continent. And Europe, yes, was named after that goddess, Europa. Absolutely correct. I believe Europa was a Yoruba goddess, or Orisha, one or the other. I'm not mistaken. But again, you can look it up. But I'm in the vicinity. You know, I'll be having a lot of shit flowing through my head, man. But it ain't nothing but a quick factor search. So, the Fez, also known as the Tarbouche, originated in the city of Fez, Morocco, in the early 19th century. It's a red, conical felt hat with a tassel, traditionally worn by Muslim men, but later adopted by women as well. The Fez became widely popular throughout the Middle East and Eastern Europe, particularly under the Ottoman Empire. I don't know, how many times did I say? Let me be quiet. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see. More details about the origin. Moroccan roots. And Moors wear the fez to this day too as well. Um, as you know, you have the Moorish Science Temple of America. Northern Africa is rich in history. Yes, all of Africa is rich in history. All of Al-Kebalan is rich in history. All of Asia is rich in history. And I say these names in respectful context of understanding that, you know, all these people, you know, call it something different or acknowledge something different or teach that it's something different. You know, um, the hat, the hat's name is directly derived from the city of Fez, where skilled craftsmen produced it from red felt. Ottoman influence. While originating in Morocco, the Fez gained widespread popularity and became the symbol of the Ottoman Empire. Symbolism. The Fez was a practical garment offering shade and ventilation and was also seen as a symbol of Islamic tradition and, at times, Ottoman authority. Balkan and Middle Eastern adoption. The Fez spread throughout the Balkan in the Middle East, becoming part of the traditional attire in various regions. Variations. Different regions and cultures adopted their own style and variations of the Fez. I'm sorry. So, yeah, yeah. You know, a lot of people believe that, you know, the Moors came from, and that's not, no. They just got the damn hat from them. You know, I had the book. I forgot the name of the book. I actually had the book. Mm, mm, mm. Is it Hiram's Key? I think the name of the book is called Hiram's Key. Even if it's not the name of the book, Hiram's Key is a great book. I forgot the authors, some more scholars,
How do you
PhD
spell?
brothers.
Sorry, how do you spell the Hiram?
Hiram's Key, Hiram, Key, Key. And I believe it talks and give a brief history on the Moors. If I'm not mistaken, that's the book. It's called Hiram's Key. It's a good read. Good read, man. Hey, man, I'm loving this, man. I should have been came down on Sunday, man, and did this religious thing and just open up the panel, man, and just talk and had to understand it. And listen, if y'all think y'all gonna come in with that battling shit, this ain't what that is. You know what I'm saying? We open. And like the brothers say here, atheists. I don't give a damn. My cousin in the chat is Muslim. I don't give a. I'm not being disrespectful towards what y'all partaking in. Meaning, those are those brothers.
Mm.
Let them do what they do.
Yep. That's right, eh? It's not hard.
Mr. Cool say he accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, and we all are
gave up
saved
on
through
life.
salvation. Some other brother came in and got to dropping scriptures in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, I ain't mad at them. Whether I believe all that shit is a fairy tale or not. That's just my own understanding and perception of it. Listen, am I saying I'm 1,000% correct as of right now where I stand? Yeah, I'm saying it. But could I be wrong?
Okay, so I'll put it to you like this. If they're right and you're wrong, you're still sweet.
You know? And that's how I look at it. Like you said, if they right and I'm wrong,
You're still sweet.
you know what I'm talking about? Snoring. Good sleep. Good sleep. He say freedom of self-determination with or without religion. Facts.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts. But in essence of that, I do understand and I can see how religion can be a staple or a foundation or basis not only for rhetoric but for building a productive and great society if it wasn't be a control mechanism. If it was
stood by its ethos, yeah.
Yeah, if it was just if it could be just revered as an open ideology or as individuals open ideology towards certain things and thoughts, a perception, just like philosophy, because that's how religion is, in a way. And I know we can separate the two, but like it's still a thought process at the end of the day. You know, on
Very
how
similar
to
conversations, isn't it?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Just like that, man. Just like that. Just like that. And some things I think we just will never understand. You know? We
That's
just
okay.
never will understand. And hopefully through your faith or hopefully through your non-faith or whatever you partake in, you find out at the end goal because guess what? You know, we all still wake up and go to sleep. We all still wake up and go to sleep till we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, does what you believe take you to a different mind state or a different place or a different reality or understanding in a what we may call our afterlife? Then what someone else's belief does?
Well, who can say?
Right, because we'll never get an answer, right?
Mm.
Hmm, interesting. See, Mr. Cool said he didn't want it to be interesting. He wanted to be more of a and I get that, but it's still interesting.
Mm.
And these things are great because, and I believe we need to have these conversations with our children, with our significant other, and with just people in general from all walks of life. And we see how things like especially the origins in the original things that people believe in. Like I said, man, like how is it that all these other things are mythology? How is that all these other things are just been destroyed? All these other beliefs, personal beliefs, have been destroyed for control of a unison, of a bipartisan, of a whatever the fuck you want to call it, and a belief of a central entity, a central being. Now, Sumeria. I wanted to go there too because Sumer, Sumerian. The Sumers have what was called the Emerald Tablets, which speaks of the Anunnaki or outside presence from different stars, Pleiades and things of that nature, and different, and they map things before technology was even so called. I guess at that primitive time, because we would call it primitive. Um, how? Unless it was some type of interference through an alien intelligence or life form, right?
Yeah,
I guess, right?
I
So,
guess, right? Yeah.
so why is that a mythology? The Anunnaki, when the Bible speaks of the Anu, the Elohim,
Mm.
hmm, fallen angels.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
See, and this is what I'm saying because the fallen
Yeah,
angels,
it just you could just fall through the layers of it forever, couldn't you? Really?
but and follow through my layers might even bring out some truth or might bring out some acknowledgement of some things that I might not have acknowledged before. It
Mm.
still ain't going, just turn me over. But like even with the fallen angels coming down, and like they say they were giants and then they slept with the daughters of men,
Mm.
right? And they had perversions of species, right? So you get you get how Zeus was born was through a titan, through a giant, right? But when the Bible says these things, it's historical and it's true. But in Greek mythology, is or in Greek lore or Greek tradition, it's a mythology. But it's saying the same fucking thing,
Mm.
right?
Yep. I can't answer that for you though. Like I don't know. I don't know why it would be like that. But you're right. It does say the same thing.
You know, and when these so-called gods sleep with humans, they have demigods like Hercules, Samson of the Bible.
Hmm.
Oh shit, y'all is great. And I'm not laughing out of uh, disrespect. That was a laugh of frustration and also a
Mm.
laugh of enjoyment of this conversation and discussion with the chat and with the people watching and with bad conduct. And big shout outs to bad conduct for coming up here and just entertaining my thought process with this conversation on this topic. Neither of us are I want to say professional religious uh, heads of
No.
sort, you know. Um, but again, still I think we have differences in opinions on certain things, or maybe not. I think we agree on more things than we disagree on. Um, but again, and you know what's crazy? Even if we had a Christian up here or a Muslim up here, and we were conversating, um, bad conduct, I think we all would still agree on more things than we disagree on.
I'd, I'd love that. I'd learn something.
But you still wrong because
Yeah, oh
you
yeah,
ain't a
yeah,
Christian.
yeah. I learned that before we started talking.
But you still wrong because you ain't a Muslim. But you still wrong because you ain't a Jew.
Mm.
Man, y'all that crazy. Crazy, man. Uncle P says our modern history doesn't reflect the actual reality. No, it doesn't. Modern history, no, doesn't reflect the actual reality. Well, yes, it does. Modern history reflects the modern reality, but it doesn't reflect the overall view of things. But you see, because Uncle P, when we're talking about certain foundations, uh, these things are said to be the blueprints of what we doing now. You know, those things are the blueprints. You know, the prophecies and the things of that nature, man. You ain't never been in the room. Oh, even if you believe in God, Uncle P, and I know you do, or whatever you do, you ain't never been in the room with them people who be talking about all that prophesize, and then you ain't never ran into them type people and be like, man, man, that man. Sometime, man, you be wanting to tell a motherfucker.
Man, if you don't get that bullshit out of here.
You know what I'm saying? you be, you
Right.
be, you be want, you know what I'm saying? You be want to tell them, man. For real. Who do?
Had
Both
a
have carried a rational approach to the. He say both have carried a rational approach to this conversation. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying.
so I
You-
I had an I wouldn't call it a run-in, but I had an encounter with a Christian rapper making music in live streams where we were both putting our music forward, and I've got quite a bit of anti music, where it is actually just tearing apart the infrastructure of religion, whereas he's, building it up. And I said to him, well, let's write each other some songs, bro, together. Let's do a song together
Mhm.
where you're on one half of it and I'm on the other half. I never heard from him again. Like, bro, you
Yeah.
like
Also,
do it with
I,
us.
I want to get into the Church of Satan and all that too, y'all. We gonna
Mm.
dabble into a lot on these Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
This the
The
first episode of Bearded Tabernacle, man. Hey, I am the Bishop Bearded one, and I am speaking to my beautiful people in my congregation. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I love it. I love it. Hey man, big ups to L Boogie and big ups to Mega Tease, man. You know what I'm saying? For influencing me to do this, you know. And even though I'm winging it and well not really winging it because I have the actual Quran and the Bible. So just alone within that, within the first page, has given me a fucking 3 hour stream, two
mm,
and a half hour stream. You know what I'm saying, bro? Just within that. So just imagine once as we go further on these Sundays and we talk and we bring up these different topics and we start reading and once we actually start reading scriptures
mm,
and I encourage, like, don't come in and be like, oh man, these no, listen, if you got something to teach and talk and tell me, but I want this how I want it though. And people don't like this. I don't want it when you come in and you just flooding with shit, right?
mm,
I want it when you come in and we go from the beginning of this process and we open up the first page of the Quran. We open up the first page of the Bible. And I know it's different variations. You got your modernized, you got your KJV, you got your this, that. You know what I'm saying? But just open it up. The first page. We're gonna start from Genesis. We're gonna learn the lineages. We're gonna learn who begot, who begot, who begot, who begot, who begot.
Who married their cousins and had babies.
You know what I'm saying? And
I learned that today.
and this tradition was not just actually, because I spoke about Jerusalem and Israel and all those places actually being on the tectonic plate of Africa. So those places are still considered Africa, even in Kemet, you know. And now scholars are trying to say King Tut was deformed, had a club foot and other deformities, and a lot of people in those times had deformities, right? Due to the fact of this. But not only was it practiced there, later on, it was practiced inside of England's lineage. Only royalty married royalty. And if you couldn't find nobody to marry, you're going to marry your damn sister. And you're going to bear me a son, or you're going to bear me someone who's going to take over the crown.
Family was the jewel? The Habsburgs, bro. You know about the Habsburg jewel?
No, what's that? Talk to me. Talk to us.
The
Hey,
Habsburgs.
big ups to Wifey, too. Yeah, I like Wifey.
Yeah, you got to talk to her, bro. She's a smarty pants.
I like Wifey.
She's very clever. Habsburg, H-A-S-B. I'm just winging it.
We doing the same damn thing.
Habsburg jewel. So the Habsburg jewel. The Habsburgs were a religious family, and basically their family tree consists of their family. If that, like they didn't marry outside at all, and so they ended up with a deformity. It's called the Habsburg jaw. It's got that long pointy regal jaw that you see in old paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they got all around, I believe. They were all around like England, France, Spain.
So let's see what it says. Habsburg jewelry. Oh, well, it says jewelry. The jewels owned and worn by Habsburg dynasty, one of Europe's most influential royal families. This includes the Australian crown jewels, a collection of regalia, investments, and other personal jewelry collections belonging to Habsburg emperors and empresses. The jewelry often incorporates precious gems like diamonds, pearls, emeralds, as well as symbolic elements. Okay, let's get to it. Key aspects
You're
of the jewelry.
on the wrong thing for the jaw. A jaw, not jewels. So the Habsburg jaw is also known as a manublaba polyrhythm, which is a prominent lower jaw that is a distinctive feature for the Habsburg dynasty due to generations of inbreeding within the family. This is a genetic condition resulted in a noticeably undurable jaw and other facial features. I wonder if I can share my picture. Images. And can you share your screen on here?
All you gotta do is present, and I'll share it for you.
Where do I do that?
Oh, it's
yeah, present. Yeah. Share screen. Whatever one. Habsburg jaw.
Like this one at the top with the man in the black hat. That's a king.
Yeah, so they're a royal family.
So yeah, but
yeah,
and I know for a fact that's a king. Like y'all crazy. You see how I know that. Yeah, like I forgot his name, but I be just into shit a lot. But anyway, I see the jawline. This head shape too.
Yep. So, like they reckon they're basically one of the most inbred families of all time.
It's at the House of Australia, Habsburg dynasty.
It's New Zealand. Actually, it's a mixed household. It's a house of Australia and New Zealand here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cause yeah. He removed family power based on Duchy of Austria, which is Habsburg rule until 1918. The House of Habsburg, Lorraine still exists today, and the head of the family is Karl von Habsburg.
Did I cut you off?
Mm. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's get back. Bam. There we go. He said they
Yeah.
were an actual dynasty, by the way. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I know. We looking it up. We looking it up. I was reading about their jewelry. It was getting into all that too, but it started off with they. But yeah, yeah, and then they got the elongated jawline and heads. Same shit like how they say these aliens be. Y'all crazy. Let me stop.
Spain has lineage and long chins.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, for real. But again, how is it that all these other civilizations um, have similar presets related to biblical history or biblical experience, but those things are mythology. Those things are outside of the norm, outside of the canon. You know what I'm saying? Because they deem what could be put because it's 66 books of the Bible, including the Old and the New Testament. And then again, I spoke on you have your Torah believers, and then you have your New Testament, and then you got your people that believe in the whole book itself. Um, which a lot of things could be contradictory. Like how you saved our grace and mercy. Hey, and big shout out to 607 Unc. He said this, even though I'm not trying to make a joke of it, but let's think about this. Jesus came down here and died for our sins, right? So if he was supposed to come down here and die for our sins, why didn't he stay dead?
Mm. And why are we not sin free?
He ain't sin free because he rose in 3 days, remember?
Mm.
He got up and rolled that big ass boulder from the cave and walked out. Remember, and people seen him.
So
My Lord.
we're saying he did a shit job. He had one
Yep.
job to do, and he
And he botched that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And listen, and I want y'all to have a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, fucking hell. That got me.
and listen, even
You
if I
had one
was,
thing to do.
yeah, and he botched it. Damn, man. You know? Because I gave y'all a brief background of my upbringing being in Catholic. And, then once I broke outside of that, I got into my own little thing and became a Muslim. Not Nation of Islam, neither. I was a Sunni.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then, became a Hebrew. I did that with my father because my father was Catholic. My father said that was the first thing um, that that moved him and over that I guess this Holy Spirit that people talk about
Mm.
it's something invoked and got in him, and that's when he wanted to what I'm saying he wanted to go to school there from a small child. He said his mother used to try to take him to public school, and he never wanted to go to public school. And he said he seen the group of nuns walking one day, and he said he used to always ask his mother about religion and all this stuff, that and the third. And he say, and his mother sometimes she'll answer the question, but sometimes she'll brush him off. And he said he was out and about one day, and he seen these women walking with covered up and shit, the nuns. And he was like, "Mama, that's why I want to go to school." And she was like, boy, bring your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, what the fuck are you talking about? So, what, the cussing is me, but, pretty much she probably did. But, I guess he was real upset, at first that, he didn't get the opportunity. I don't think it was financial wise. I think it was more of a traditional household thing that wasn't what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? And the whole family. So,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, my grandmama gave in, and my father was in Catholic school, in his younger years, and then went to Catholic high school. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. And everything that he did was Catholic for a long, 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 long time in his life. You know what I'm saying? The mass, all that old craziness, man. You know. But yeah. But then one day, man, I don't know what I see. Here we go with this spirit shit again. You feel? I don't know, and I don't know if these spirits are hijackers or body jumpers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But something else got into him, and he caught on to the Hebrew joint, and shit, he got me into it, and shit. So I guess something kicked off in me. You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, man, I think I outgrew that. And I want to say and that's the choice of words that I'm gonna use. Outgrew, you know, and not that I was looking to bounce around for different things. I wasn't getting into these things to necessarily say, well, you know what, I'm gonna do this for 5 years, like some people do. Well, you know what, I'm gonna do this for 2 years. Now I was in it to win it. Shit, you feel me? I at least I thought I was. You know, but man, but as you get to growing, man, now my principles, my laws, my understanding is about nature. You know, it's about the vibration. You know, we are light beings. Our whole fucking essence is electric. For those that don't know, that's a creation. That's a religion, and that's a whole indoctrination and understanding of itself. Maybe we should start that. You know what I'm saying? If you break it down, if you break down the science of it, we light people. That's why light affects us in different ways.
We're all just energy.
Eh,
Do you know, like it blew me away when I found out that there is always an equal number of energy within the universe.
Well, we ain't shit but waves, brother.
Mm. Like we used to think about that, and like that, it moves and ebbs and flows and changes, but it's always the same. That's crazy.
Huh? Because he say that's hilarious. He say conformity. Gary says conformity is the biggest deformity. Hmm. Hmm. Well,
Well,
hold
no,
on.
that
Hold
Hasbro
on.
jaw was pretty big.
Hold on. Hold on, Gary Bear. Gary Bear. Conformity is the biggest deformity. Hold on. No, 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 no. Let me. I take that back. I forgot. I gotta redo it. I gotta redo it. Words of Whistles brought to you by Gare Beer from Bearded Conversation. No, I'm sorry, from Bearded Tabernacle. Conformity is the biggest deformity. And also the biggest mental disability, too. That shit handicaps the fuck up out of you. Conformity, being complacent. We talked about this once before. Professor Remo made a statement. One of my other moderators made a statement about being happy, and why do we think? Some I can't remember the actual question. But it has something to do with being complacent and just being stuck in a central mindset that okay, well, we getting this and this ain't affecting me, so fuck it. Why not, aspire to do anything else other than what the fuck I'm doing? Because guess what? I'm happy. At least you think you are. Because you don't know no
You
better.
think you
See,
are
yeah,
right.
yeah, so when you don't know no better and you haven't experienced nothing, that's why I encourage people to get passports and go see how other people live. Go touch some other surfaces. Go smell some different air.
Go see other parts of your
Go
own country.
go experience your different culture and traditions. I'm not saying that it'll be just great for everybody, but just the experience of it, man. I guarantee you figure something out and you learn something
Mm.
if you know how to tap into what you're doing. That's why I say I'm
I
more of a nature person.
mm, I grew like the biggest part of my growth as a human, into an adult, was when I went and lived in a different country. And,
Mhm.
it's only a 3 hour plane flight away. Everything's the same, but the nuances and the different cultures, bro, that it exposed me to, and that just because Australia is so much more multicultural than New Zealand, and just, yeah, Singapore's my next stop.
He said changing the story to suit your need is wild. He said that's an interesting backstory. What you talking about, Uncle P? What you mean changing the story to suit your need is wild? See, that's what religion is.
Mm.
Shit, right? What I'm saying. So and then when we do like the historical age recognition of shit, and if you say Kemet was before Christianity, right? What about their practices? What about what they did? You don't think a lot of that shit is in Christianity? Yeah, I think so. You could read the Book of Psalms. The Book of Psalms has some of the exact same shit that's in the Book of the Dead. The exact same shit. I'm talking about word for word. And they deny it. It's mythology. But comedians or people who study that side of whatever can acknowledge that it's mythology. They can acknowledge that it's symbolism. They can acknowledge that it's used to try to understand how to live, why you're alive, and how to live once you descend. You know, versus you either going to heaven or hell. You gonna burn the lake of fire with that motherfucker that got up out of here, or you gonna come up here with me and be peaceful. You know? Do y'all
Right.
even ask why? Oh, well, you can't ask why because you can't defy the creator because you shouldn't put no other god before me. You should worship no idol of wood and stone. This is what comes out of the mouth of the controlling entity
21.
of a book that billions of people follow. Oh, well, they smaller gods, but then you have a seventh heaven. Seven heavens. I don't know if y'all heard of the seven heavens. Um, and see, and then those things that them seven deadly sins. Those are nothing. Those are actual gods or demons
It's, yeah,
or
7 layers to
deities
down to I can't remember it now.
from Moloch
Mm.
um, to Baal, um, not Baal, Baal. Um, Moloch, Baal. It's a bunch. Yeah, Lucifer, one of them. You know what I'm talking about? Satan, whatever y'all want to call him. Oh man, it's a few of them. That's just three.
So, can we talk about the soul then? Because that seems to be the big thing, right? Save your soul,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do we believe there's a soul? You personally,
Do I believe what? Well,
do you have a soul, and that's what's saved? Because obviously your meat sack stays behind, and um,
so this is how first I'll start
decomposes.
off by doing this. I'm gonna start off by doing this so we can understand uh soul, the spirit or immaterial part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. Emotions or intellectual energy or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art uh, or an artistic performance. So we're going to go with the latter, the immaterial part of a human or animal that is immortal. Um, Soul is energy in this case, if
Mm-hmm.
it's immortal.
Mm-hmm. And we just brushed over that the energy is consistent.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
do you know about the 21 grams?
say the 21 grams.
You know about 21 grams?
No, enlighten us.
All right. So when you die, your body loses 21 grams of weight, and it's consistent over people. So you actually lose, and I imagine some of it's oxygen or whatever,
Right.
but um, the concept of a human soul weighing 21 grams originates in 1907. An experiment by
Right,
Dr.
because they
Duncan
weigh you,
Dougal.
right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
weigh you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Go
they've
ahead, but go ahead.
yeah. So who attempted to measure the weight change of dying patients. One patient in his study reportedly lost 21 grams at the moment of death, leading him to suggest that that could be the weight of the departing soul. However, the study is widely considered flawed, unscientific, due to its small size. So it doesn't have a big, what do you call it? A
So,
big,
could they use a Geismic meter or counter when a person dies, and can they for what's the word I'm looking for? Can they I was finna say facilitate, but can they like um yeah, have a controlled environment
mm,
where a Geiger counter is used and
yeah,
people that's gonna die to measure or to see how
mm.
much energy dissipates and do an equation to convert it over to grams to try to make a correlation to see if that's actually energy. You see you see where I'm trying to
Yeah,
go?
yeah. I see what you're saying. I think there's enough people die every day that you could weigh and have a controlled environment and to figure that out. Um,
Mm.
which is why I thought, I stand corrected. Like I thought that this was actually an experiment that was founded in fact, or science, but um, I was wrong. Flaws in criticism. The experts have been criticized for its small, simple size, only 6 patients, inconsistent results. Only one person, 21 grams. So yeah, control group. That was what I was thinking. I thought, why isn't there a bigger control group? Food for thought.
Interesting.
Mm.
So I guess, like I say, energy, that immortal part, and energy is forever. Yeah, so I guess we would have a soul. Now, what makes the soul conscious?
Yeah, guys. She's not very conscious at the moment.
Uh, uh, You know,
um,
what, what makes the soul conscious? If we do, well, what makes that energy that's inside of us conscious to the point where we can have dialogue and discussion and think and learn and become a species of an evolved species to the point where we even ask this question about the shit we talking about. You know what I'm saying?
all right, I'm going to throw a wild one at you. The Anunnaki. You said it yourself. Demigods were bred.
You say demigods were who?
Well, you said the Anunnaki
Yeah,
earlier. Yep.
yeah.
Because we bred with them, that's what gave us the consciousness.
Um,
That's what I'm going to run with. Because I don't know,
well,
bro.
no, because even with the Anunnaki, so apparently they had taken over a stronger race of of uh indigenous people from a different star system, and they had those people doing the work
Mm,
for them before
right. Yep.
Adam or Adam or Adapa uh, came into the picture. But then this race, um, I guess you could say, had an uprising, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the work was done. So they had to figure out how to get this work done. So they tried to breed and intermix, and so the story goes, or whatever the case may be. And men here, and then they had women over here, like, and they were separated. You know what I'm saying? Something like the Garden of Eden almost.
Mm.
Some people make that, make those comparisons. And they say those were like breeding factories. The Garden of Eden was a breeding factory. Don't quote me, but or something like that. And this is what was said. But they seen that, yeah, they can make this certain type of being, and then this other type of being. But when it came to mating, they couldn't procreate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they made a man. Yeah, they made a woman. But now they trying to make them mate and go back, but nothing happens. So the sister of Enlil and Inky um, took some of the DNA from a male and implanted it inside of her, and hence Adapa, the first male Adam child, was born. And she birthed it through her birthing canal. It don't say nothing crazy or nothing like that. Or it just popped up on miraculously. Now, um, the fetal process was probably a little quicker. And I really haven't read anything about the length or the process of that. But yes, bro, they didn't see aliens being birthed and born through vaginal, and they didn't see the aliens being birthed and born through other ways.
Mm.
But we got here because of the mythology thing. You know, when you try to make a comparative analysis to these religions from other things,
Mm.
people say those are mythology. You can't believe in those things. So, but what deems Christianity and Islam? Either you're this or you're that.
Yeah.
Even with the
Yep.
flag,
Yep.
with the Catholics, bro. I don't believe Catholic is Christianity. I think Catholicism is Catholicism.
Mm. Yep.
Ain't no goddamn Christian city state nowhere in America. Once you go inside of the Vatican and them walls close,
Mm.
you are safe. I'm
Safe or
serious.
you're either safe or you're fucked, aren't you?
Yeah, it
Depending
depends
on
on
the
if they
yeah.
fuck with us or
Mm.
not. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. Yeah, man. But, man, listen, y'all, this was a great conversation that I had with Bad Conduct, man. And I do appreciate everybody for tuning in and being in the building with me tonight, man. Listen, man, this is the first episode of the Bearded Tabernacle, man. And I am Bishop Bearded One. Hey, I enjoyed my time with y'all, man, but I gotta get up out of here, man. You feel me? Hold on. Let's see what Uncle P say. Uncle P say, he said energy is alive, and he says the universe is alive with energy. He says
Yeah.
my philosophical view. Yes.
Mine too.
So, and with that being said, I said this once before too. We are made up of the universe. The same things that's in the universe is inside of us. Facts.
Yeah, facts, bro. Look, you just have to look at it through a microscope, don't you? And then look out the other way.
I mean, shit, it is what it is.
Don't even have to be a scientist.
It's the inverse, as above, so below.
Mm-hmm.
You know, inside out type shit. That's like some inside out type shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, the universe and spit us out, and now, you know, we inside of something that's inside of us.
I mean, like, yeah, I always wonder, like, is there whole, like, am I a whole universe for another universe inside a universe's universe? You know? You know, my son asked my wife, how big's the universe? Fucking massive, she told me.
Mm.
Because how are you going to comprehend it any other way?
With theoretical physics, you know, they got equations for that.
Theoretical physics say you could go to any point in the universe and it would still be equal distances. Like, it's infinite. So if you went from here to any point, you would still be the same distance to anywhere else again. It's crazy.
And wrap y'all heads around that. Hey, man, listen, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight, man. I am the Bishop Bearded One, man, and my deacon bad conduct fell through, and then we got the deacon missus in the background, man. We just, you know, we just trying to help the people out, you know what I'm saying, get a better understanding of things, man. Before I get up out of here, man, y'all know what it is, man. Listen, I'm gonna leave y'all how I came to you. Let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. Let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. One last time, and that shit sound biblical. Let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. And don't forget those 5 key components of life: love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. That's love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. And one more time, just in case you fell asleep, wake the fuck up. That's love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. Hey, and if my boy Roscoe was here, man, like he said every night, man, if he was here, man, or if he was in the building, hey, if ain't nobody told y'all today that they love you, we love you here on Bearded Conversation, man. And don't forget, all superheroes don't wear capes, but they still need their theme music. So to all my superheroes, all my Beardonians, and all my beautiful people and my newly found congregation here on Bearded Tabernacle. You know what I'm saying? Uncle P, tell her what time it is, Uncle P.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a job. He won't even pay. Hard working.
Quantum physics.
Ain't no judgment. We just have a conversation.
Quantum leaps.
Ain't no need for fun. Give you an opinion, and then you do what you want. But we gon' listen. Tell you what you need, not what you want. It's different on the side. Cook and kick and karate. Come and get high, cause everybody here is invited to the party. Y'all niggas smoke, cook, cause I know about Marley. Real OGs sit on the panel while waiting in the lobby. We go together, grow together. Fuck good, nigga, be better. I'm the body to preach, but I'm someone to teach. See, I've been there and I done it. This is motivation. Some of y'all might hate it. Hard work and dedication. It's what you gotta put in. You gotta go with master your craft. It is simple mathematics. Whatever you give is what you get back. Champagne and bubble bath. That is all fantasy. Niggas rather hear where the fuck you been or what it is you gon' be. See, real, no real. And this is not for the motherfucking fake. It ain't a radio station. And no one here hates. See, we give an opinion on what the fuck we heard. I can get annoying and probably get on your nerves, but you gon' be okay. We here to brighten up your day. From the first day of June to the last day of May. Said I'm a nigga bearded. Now we having conversation. Real niggas do real things, cause this is celebration. Yeah.
Hey, y'all y'all know what it is, man. Hey, man, like Roscoe would say, don't meet us here, beat us here. Same black time, same black channel. Talk black to me, y'all. Hey, and don't forget, man, y'all know what it is. Those that fuck with us. Those that don't, fuck with us anyway. Especially on these newly found Sundays, man. And y'all know what I like to say, man. Hey, listen, y'all, when we come together, may we always meet on a level. Once we in each other's presence, may we always be humble and plump. And when we leave each other's presence, may we always part on the square. Hey, no matter what religion, no matter what race, no matter what your thoughts are, if we do that right there, guess what, y'all? We'll make it. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Bearded Tabernacle, man. Hey, Bishop Bearded One is out, y'all. I ain't even asked for a collection plate neither. I'm going to get y'all next Sunday, though.